being the elite. If his technique becomes great, not just good, then he's a Hall of Fame.
Quinnen Williams.
Fighting through contact, fighting through offensive line, getting a double team, multiple moves stacked into one, just a play of pure domination. It's an actual film, it's an actual football talk. It's a football show, so it's about football, not storylines.
And you are watching another edition of Blewett's Blitz Live with my friend Kyle Smith. Kyle, what's up? I'm going to blame the fact that we were 2 minutes late on Kyle today, so blame him, everybody.
That's fine. And all the other times we started late, it's because of Blewett. So
that is true.
I can get 1 week.
So what's going on? Not
too much. I'm starting to get progressively more excited for the offseason. You know, sometimes like when the season's over, especially when you're Jets and you've had 10 consecutive, or what is it, 11 consecutive seasons now of no playoffs, you're kind of like happy for the season to be over and kind of want to break from it a little bit. But, you know, when you love football as much as I do, it's just an all season thing. And I don't know, I'm starting to get more and more and more excited now. Whereas for like the first month plus when the season was over, I was just, okay, I'm glad it's kind of over. You know?
Yeah. And this offseason, it feels a little bit different too, because we have some hope going forward. We're not looking for a head coach. We're not looking for a quarterback. And like, yeah, we weren't necessarily looking for that in Adam Gates' second year with Darnold, but we still kind of knew what the end result was going to be. So at least this year, it's like, okay, we're actually building towards something, hopefully. But what's up to the chat? I saw Eagle. I saw Snoopy, West Coast, Joe, Andrew's in here. What's up, Andrew? Braden, another Joe. I think that's two Joe's. Elias, go New York, go New York, go. Braden. Yeah, we have a lot to talk about. So I'm going to try to get to the chat as best I can, but there is literally 1,000 things for us to talk about in the 3 hours we usually do this. We try to keep it to 2, but it's just not going to happen. So especially with this show, and especially during the offseason, there's so many possibilities to talk about. But we're going to talk about the NFL Combine. We're going to talk about Quinnen Williams, Braxton Berrios, some news around that. We're going to do our last offseason sim before the free agency actually hits on Monday, the legal tampering period, which makes absolutely no sense when you really think about it. So there is a ton. Again, like the last stream, I'm working on like the 24-hour thing. So if I forget some words and you notice my bag's under my eyes, there's a reason why. I've almost been out for 24 hours again. So excuse me. I'm going to say that before we even start. Someone's like, dude, Joe's an idiot today, because that's just how YouTube is. So Kyle, I don't even know really where to start. I guess I'm going to start in like chronological order with my notes with some of the stuff we have to talk about, because there's things I want to hit on 2 weeks ago that we didn't hit on yet. So we'll hit on them a little bit quicker. And then we'll move through pretty quickly, because like I said, we're going to end up talking about the two top topics for 30 minutes. So I got to make sure I push it. So the most chronologically is for us to talk about Q's 5th-year option, $10.2 million, top of my head, I believe. Do you think that is acceptable? Do you think they should have signed him? What do you kind of think about that? I don't think it's really much of a surprise, but I just want to bring it up.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm totally with that. I've been on the record for months now, both Twitter and here, saying I wouldn't give him a long-term contract. He still kind of has to prove it to me. Mm-hmm. I think he's a fine player. I like him, but he's not lived up to expectations yet for me. And I would even think that you're pretty much at the same point, especially I know you were really bullish after his sophomore season. Yeah. But even in comparison to what his college film was, he hasn't fully lived up to expectations yet. Now this is not the worst thing in the world. He was the 3rd overall pick.
You're not saying he's a bust.
Yeah, not at all. But for me, you're talking, there's a lot of money. You know, we're talking 20-something million a year, and could be well above that. I want to see more before I'm willing to just, break the bank for him. So yeah, it's the right move. You got him for 2 more years, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, you want to see what he does. You don't want to sign him to a contract where he's probably going to be asking for $18, $19, $20 million. And let's just be honest, to be simple with it, we're not going to, dive as deeply as we can to this. We have so many topics to hit. He's not worth that type of money right now. So extend him for next year. 10.2 is obviously really controllable. That's a really good price for Q. see how he plays in year 4, and then maybe you extend him after this year. If he kind of has another iffy year, you let him play that 5th year, then we see what happens. Maybe you franchise him for that 6th year. You don't really know, because he has been a little bit of a disappointment, not a bust. But I was talking about, top 5 D tackle this year. And I don't think he's been that. Maybe in that 10 to 15 type range. And I get the arguments of, well, wait until he has this guy around him and that guy around him. Listen, when you're supposed to be a top 5 guy, you're a top 5 guy. You can't bring up that argument. Like you got to produce consistently. I don't like the excuses. Oh, well, he needs Carl Lawson back. Oh, wait till JFM's back. Oh, wait till you get Thibodeau. It's like, if you need all those players to produce, there's probably a problem, and you're not that top 5 player that we necessarily expected, or I necessarily expected, which is high expectations for anybody. But I legitimately saw that at Bama. I saw that coming out of his 2nd year, 3rd year. I think he dipped a little bit. He didn't have as many impressive outings as I saw in his sophomore season. So
we have so much crap to talk about. So I'm curious. Like, what do you think it is? Is it? Because people like to make, it's injuries. He had an ankle injury 1 year. I mean, what do you think points to the lack of production this year?
I really don't know. I would want to watch him like individually every single play to really get a hold of that. But it could be adjusting to a new scheme. I'm not really too sure, because it looked like he was ready to break out after year 2, and then year 3 it just didn't happen. I know he had an injury and he's out for a couple of games. And like I said, maybe adjusting to a new scheme, but it's something that I would really have to watch and hone in on. And what was he doing that was different? Because he had more of those games in his sophomore year, against the Niners, against the Dolphins, where he was just absolutely dominating. I didn't really feel like he had a lot of those games. I see Blake said he can make it to a live stream. We're already getting questions about the DNs. We're going to talk about the DNs too, Kyle. Like, we have prospect updates to do, because you've watched some and you've looked at some guys since we've done this. A lot of people asking about our edge rush order and who we want it for and all this stuff. And right now it seems, which we'll talk about with the franchise tags, it looks like edge rusher might go 1 and 2, just based on kind of how the Lions and Jags are positioning themselves, which, there's a lot of time, so they could be posturing for something else, but just based on the tea leaves, that's what you'd think.
I did see a report today that Malik Willis could go 2, and it's hard for me, just looking at all these recent years and all these quarterbacks that have gone so early, to think that the Lions won't seriously consider a quarterback. Quarterbacks always fly up the draft boards a lot. Every year we hear, it's not a great draft class for. No, I'm not saying every year.
Yeah.
But we always hear this every couple of years. It's not a great draft class for quarterbacks, but some guy usually goes pretty early.
I pray that happens, because my worst case scenario, and we'll talk about Thibodeau in the future, but let's just say Thibodeau, Hutchinson are gone, and let's say Sauce is gone, and I know people are going to be, and the great thing about a lot of these reviews that are going to come out, Kyle, with the Sauce stuff, because I've already been hearing, people are just hyped up on Sauce because of the combine. Bullshit, because time stamped a review on him, and he was to go in the top 10 a month ago when I did the review. Same thing with Trayvon Walker. Even before his combine, you watched the review, I said he was probably going to go, top 10 in that range. And I think he would be a decent pick at 10 for the Jets. Now his combine even rose the stock up a little bit for me, but he didn't rise up from a 2nd round pick to a 1st round pick for me from that combine. He was already in that top 10 range for me. I think he supplanted or really cemented himself into that top 10. So we'll talk about him. We'll talk about some of the edge rushers. I know Andrew in here is a big fan of Jermaine Johnson. We're not as big of fans on Jermaine Johnson, which we can get into in the future. But yeah, we have a lot to hit on. And like I said to the chat, going to try to hit it as much as I can. Some of it I'm just not going to be able to do. I'm going to do at my absolute best. But that's more what the Wednesday shows are for me to hit that and make sure I hit every single thing. And this one, sometimes I just can't do it. So so the Q thing. The Berrios thing, again, just moving in chronological order since the last time you jumped on here, Kyle. Douglas has had some conversations with Berrios' agents, and I think the quote was saying it's important to keep people who do things the right way. And then a couple of days, weeks later, came out that the Jets made a fair offer, but he'll test free agency. So what's your kind of feel on the Berrios news?
Yeah, I mean, you can't overpay for him. So, I mean, do we have any ballpark idea of what the offer was? No, right? Of course not. But yeah, no, this is a player that you don't overpay for. And it's mostly because, like, okay, Berrios is a gadget guy. We pointed out numerous times on here that, some of the gadget plays are quite impressive. I liked some of the stuff he did in that Miami game in Miami. But some of it's like, okay, you could have done this with somebody else too. Really good punt returner. I really liked what he did returning punts. But for me, it's just like, okay, you can't pay him the big bucks until you really kind of see him do a lot as a slot receiver. And I'm sorry, I just haven't really seen as much as I wanted to. Yeah, sure, I like him on the scramble drill, but that's no reason to give a guy big bucks and expect him to be a slot receiver who's going to constantly move the chains on third down. So,
yeah. So maybe chat to JJ at 35. What are you smoking? I'm not sure who. I didn't see anybody in the chat mention JJ at 35. I didn't do that either. So I don't know what that guy's talking about. But yeah. So with Berrios, like right now,
JJ who?
I'm Jermaine. I'm assuming he's talking about Jermaine Johnson. So line in the sand right now, your highest offer to Berrios, so we can move past this topic, because I think in the JetX simulator, which we're going to do later on in the show, just to go through our free agency and kind of talk it out a little bit before it actually hits, because our last time it could really do it. Line in the sand number for him right now.
Didn't we say like 5.5, something along those lines?
So if it was a 3-year deal, 18 million, you're saying no? That's your
yeah. At a certain point, you got to walk away because at the end of the day, agents, there's not a tremendous amount of agents representing guys throughout the league. So if you build up that reputation that you can get worked over by agents, then it's bad business for future negotiations.
And again, you're paying for a good special teamer. Okay, fine. Give a good special teamer who's a punt returner, kick returner, $2.5-3 million. That's fine. But then you're equating that other money, that $2.5-3 million, to a guy who is a backup slot, backup gadget guy who ideally doesn't see a lot of reps. Which we have to understand that ideally he's the 5th or 6th receiver on this team. You're going to be willing to pay that $3 million. It's not necessarily worth it to me. So I think about 5.5 to 6 is my cutoff line with him there. What's up, Taps? Frederick, I see what you're talking about now. Afram, what's up, man? David, people joining this thing fast. I know people are excited now too. So that's always fun. And Jordan, you are right. People always drop. I'll get through some of your stuff in a little bit. So moving on, we'll hit the combine really quickly. Is there anybody you want to go off or go onto off the top of your head, or do you want me to just kind of run through some guys that I saw good and bad day 1, day 2, and you just stop me when you want to talk about a guy, because there's a long list
do that. Do that.
Yeah. So I'm gonna. I don't mean this to be like robotic, but I'm just literally reading it. And this is from me watching it, and then obviously you're monitoring social media and all that stuff. But day 1, tight ends and wide receivers. I want to hear some guys in the chat too. What's up, Y2K? Big green bean guy who's always on his show. I think it's his first time in this chat. What's up? But for the wide receivers, tight ends from the good, again, stop me in the chat if you guys disagree, or if you guys have anybody to add on that I missed out on. Again, I was kind of just watching and then noticing guys and writing them down, so I didn't really do a ton of deep dives into all these guys' numbers. But Sky Moore, I know he stood out. The receiver from Western Michigan, 4.41. Everybody said he looked really explosive, really smooth. So apparently he was like a 3rd round guy who might have made his way, or 3rd or 4th round guy who made his way up into a late 2nd, early 3rd round guy, who might be an interesting option for the Jets, just in terms of his athleticism.
So what else? How else did he blow up? Like, okay, 4.41. That's pretty standard. I mean, Chris Godwin runs a 4.42. So what was his jumps? What was his 3-cone?
That's what I'm saying. I don't have all the numbers of these guys.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I just know that people were hyping him up like the Daniel Jeremiahs of the world. We're hyping him up even before this. And then after, they continue to hype him up. He's a guy who's pretty trustworthy to me. I don't really trust a lot of guys in the draft community, but I do trust him for the most part. Olave, it was a 4.26, right? And then they timed it completely wrong.
4.39. Whoa, that's a big difference.
Which isn't it's okay. And to be honest, they're looking into this turf and they're saying these are historic numbers, and it's fast turf. And apparently a lot of teams are adding 0.05 to a lot of these times because it's just historically fast for a lot of these guys. So Olave, really like a 4.4. I think he's a good deep route runner, but obviously a 4.26 is much different than a 4.39, 4.4.
Yeah, I was blown away when I saw that time. I was like, what?
Yeah, and some of these guys were running, and I was thinking about tweeting out, I didn't want to be like that party pooper, douchebag who's going to be like, these guys don't look as fast as these numbers are coming out as. And then some of them obviously weren't. But then after that, he kind of followed it up with a 10.4 broad and a 32-inch vert, which really isn't that great. at all for a guy you want to be really that explosive. So I put him in good, but kind of. The tight end Chig Okono, whatever the hell his name is, from Maryland. I don't know how to pronounce his name, especially not right now. I've been up for like 24 hours, but 5'4", 238 pounds. Looked explosive. He was a guy who impressed in tight end drills who I've never heard of before. Again, unless you're doing these mock drafts, you're looking at the guys like the 200s. Kyle Phillips, who are talking about him. Let's see. McBride, not the best numbers that he put up, not the best measurables, but he looked good in drills, like the sled drill, the drill where they throw like the fade ball on the sideline. He looked good. Looked pretty smooth, looked pretty comfortable catching the ball. So I was watching him a lot because obviously Jets fans are hyping him up. I thought he looked good in the drills that you could watch. Garrett Wilson, 4.36, pretty fast for him. You know, I think he's has good acceleration. I don't think he has the best top end speed, and I think people might underrate his top end speed though because of his lack of ability to stack guys and his ability to get off a press. But overall, I thought that was a pretty good time. Christian Watson, massive winner, 4.36, 208, 6'4", 11.4 broad, 38.5 vertical is ridiculous. But now you have people who are saying he was a 3rd or 4th round pick. And now there's people saying he's wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4, going to be there at 30, pick at 35, 38. I say relax a little bit to that.
That's a big mistake.
If you, and this is for the people, I'm not saying this isn't, if you guys watch him and you think he's a 3rd or 4th round pick, and then he runs good numbers, and then he comes up to a early, first round pick, 2nd round pick, that's a mistake. Now, if you didn't notice this guy, like he wasn't being talked about enough, but then you saw the combine numbers, and then you watch him, you're like, holy shit, okay, not being a prisoner of the moment, then it's fine. But there's people who like had him as a 4th or 3rd round guy who apparently watched him, and now he's the 3rd or 4th best receiver. I think that's a little bit ridiculous. So I would like to watch for myself to see exactly if he deserves to be a pick at 35 or 38, not 90 like he was a couple of days ago. So I don't know about a whole 2-round raise for him. Other than that, Alex Pierce, I think he had a 9.9 RAS score. Anybody else from day one good that you wanted to mention or talk about real quick? Again, I'm trying to run through them a little bit quickly just because we have so many things to get to. But I don't want to. I
couldn't tell you who was day 1, who was day 2, who was day 3. I have no clue on like who did what days. I mean, like I was following it. I was on social media every now.
Receivers and tight ends. Anybody want to mention?
Is there anyone I want to ask about? So do we actually have London's 40 time? Like, did he actually run the 40? Do we know what it was?
He didn't run the 40.
Okay.
I definitely would have written it down.
So that's the number I want to know. Okay.
Yeah, at his pro day, you're gonna want to see that. I want to see it below a 4.6. I think below a 4.6, I would be happy with it. Anything above like a 4.65, I'm kind of like, okay, I get the concern with his logging speed, but I think if you're expecting anything higher than a 4.5, you're probably mistaken. I think a good number for him would be like a 4.59, 4.6 flat, especially if a guy like Burks who's running a 4.55. But
Evans was in the 4.5 range, right? I know Evans is in the 230s poundage wise when he was at the combine. So I'm not saying it's a direct comparison at all, but he was in the 4.5s if I'm not mistaken, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so. MB99, big supporter. Appreciate you. I think we have a Seahawks fan in here who, moderators can block him if he's being a dude. I'm not going to really read through the chat, but they're obviously depressed now, so they're going to come into Jets chats because they're going to be worse than the Jets this year. So that's going to be a nice turn of events for them.
Especially if Drew Lock is starting for them. Oh my God.
Yeah. It's I really don't think the trade was that bad for the Seahawks, to be completely honest, for what they got. Bad from day one from the receivers and tight ends. The only thing I really wrote down, I didn't really go too heavy with the bad. Burks 4.55, which I get for his size, 225 isn't that bad, but there's a lot of people comparing him to DK Metcalf. And again, I do love that the reviews are coming out. When they do come out, Kyle, they're all time stamped because I was saying he's a late first, maybe in other drafts, a 2nd round guy. And now people are kind of maybe not as brutal on him as I am, but 33-inch vert, not very impressive. That's the 20th percentile of receivers. 10-2 broad, 7.28 3 cone, which is in the 8th percentile among receivers. So not the best movement skills. A guy who's super raw.
And you're talking about a guy who's billed on being a yak guy, but if you don't have really great movement skills.
And he didn't, and it's not like he was running between the tackles and stuff. And a lot of his plays were him just accelerating and like running through arm tackles. Like he wasn't juking guys and all this stuff. And I watched it and I'm sure you watched it in yourself too, but like How many plays was he schemed open? How many plays did he duck out of blocks? How many plays did he run out of bounds early when he could have gained a couple extra yards? How many routes did he stop running when he wasn't targeted initially? So I really was pretty low on Treylon Burks film. People say like, oh, trade down, get him at 20, 25. Like even if they trade down at 20, 25, I'm not about it. I'm just he's not my flavor. And then he came out.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you that. So with their second pick in the second round, you wouldn't even be interested there, right? Because I'm not really that interested there myself.
It depends.
It's just like you have to ask yourself, like, what's okay? There's already concerns on tape, but okay, you might draft a guy when there's concerns on tape if there's the upside. But then when you look at his numbers, it's like, is there really that much of an upside?
Yeah. I'm not the big. Maybe at 38 we're talking. But in the first round, people are like, oh, and this is why I was losing my mind, because you watched it, I watched it, and then again you have people 4-minute highlight tapes on YouTube, easy to find. They make people look really good, and you see people, oh, Treylon Burks at 10. And I'm like, what are people watching? How do you watch this guy and you think he's a 10th overall pick? You're worthy of it. I don't get it. So he kind of didn't impress anybody. I don't think he was going to impress that much anyway. Didn't. David Bell, guy who was going to be like a second round guy, 33-inch vert, sub 10-foot broad jump, and a 4.65, hurt his stock. And then Jake Ferguson, the tight end, hurt himself a little bit. 15 bench reps, 4.8 140. People were concerned about his speed, and then running a 4.8 140 is not necessarily the best. And there are easily guys who run faster than they do on tape on the field than they do with the 40 times. But for guys you're not really super familiar with, a 4.81 is not the best. Like there's a guy I want to bring up a little bit who I was like, that's his 40 times. He definitely plays faster. I forget who. Like even like Kyle Hamilton, we'll talk about in a little bit. 4.6 or whatever it was. He plays fast now.
It's like 4.59. Yeah, that was strange because we were thinking he's low 4.4s. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I was like, do you think he could crack in the 4.3s? Like that was actually a conversation I believe we had.
Yeah. Salmon Jets. I'm bringing it to some of the comments too, but people are telling me Jermaine Johnson won't make it to 10 now. I want Jermaine badly. So
I saw that.
Yeah. And I know Andrew's in here. Absolutely. I would be very disappointed with Jermaine Johnson at 4.
Yeah. At 10, I would be extremely disappointed.
At 10, we could talk about it. And we went over it, and everybody's going to have their different flavors. A lot of the plays, we pulled up plays where, he's beating bad tackles versus Miami, and I didn't really see it being translatable. Like if we're talking about great tackle radius, great explosion, great movement in the open field, great. He doesn't have the best bend. It's okay. He doesn't have the best flexibility. It's okay. His pass rush moves in terms of the run game, good. Pass rush moves from a down-to-down basis, his plan is severely lacking at times. And Kyle, you watch the review. How many times did he run up the guy and just stutter steps and just puts his hand high and get the run completely shut down? Like the highlight plays look great, but the other plays in the middle were just not there for me. So, and I've said before,
there's so much wasted movement, and when you're talking about wasted steps, wasted movement, when you got to get to the quarterback in like literally like 2.5 seconds or below, there's no time for that crap.
And the spin moves, like he's forcing inside spin moves versus guys for inside leverage and stuff. Like his pass rush plan is severely lacking for me. So okay. Like to me, he's almost like a discount version of like Kayvon. Like they're different in terms of their like actual athletic traits, but Kayvon is a better athlete than him. Even though JJ is better in the run game, I would say his tackle radius in the open field is better. But his technique from down to down, obviously you watch review, it's an hour plus, and I brought up how many plays where I was like, what's the plan here? What's the plan here? What's the plan here? Why is he starting his long arm or his bull rush off of his inside foot? Why are his hands so high? What is his plan? Why is he not stacking moves? Like, so, and the play where like, oh, he beats that Miami tackle. I bring up in that review too, Kyle, like how bad is that Miami tackle? He punches him like this. And then JJ like puts his hand high.
That Miami tackle looks, Chuma Edoga looked good.
Yeah. And so like people are like, oh, that game was so good. Yeah, he's playing against one of the worst tackles I've watched. So the plays that looked like they were highlights to me, it's like, okay, even if it's just a decent tackle, he takes a decent pass set, it's not happening. So I get the intrigue for JJ because of he has a lot of like upside in terms of like his athletic traits, like, but I don't know what his calling card is right now in terms of getting to the passer. Like you have Karlaftis with technique and power. You have Hutchinson, who you just watched, who has ridiculous technique and power. You have Thibodeau, who has great burst, and I would say is a little bit more athletic than JJ in terms of just bending the corner. You have Walker, who has a long way to go, and we will talk about him. But in terms of his athletic upside, it is utterly absurd, his athletic upside.
Yeah, man.
But
Like,
we'll get into all that.
They play him all up and down that line, and you want to see more of him coming off the edge. But man, sometimes when he gets it right, it's right, and he can dominate at any position along that D line.
Yeah, like
he's a freak. He's a freak.
And Frederick, Joe, don't you think your plan can be taught by our coach? I'm going to pull some of your stuff on the actual screen in a little bit, but it's easier said than done. You know, to me, like, it's like, okay, well, can't the Nets staff teach Ben Simmons how to shoot? You know, like, isn't it that easy? It's just technique, right? You know, like, if it's a little bit far off with some stuff, okay, but when it's a whole plan, a little bit of a different story. So yes, you could, but am I going to take that leap where can I just expect it? No, not right now. So, and I've said this before, and again, people have their different flavors, but he's my DN5. I think he's your DN5 too, Kyle. And he's pretty comfortable in my DN5. So,
oh yeah. Yeah. Hey, do you want to get to the super chat?
Yeah, I'm going to get to it. Then we'll get to the rest of the other stuff too. Andrew. So JJ has only started in 16 games. His career is great for me. Has a lot to do with projection like Walker. I trust that guy. I trust that with his track record of recent improvement, he'll only get better. Yeah, no, that's fine. And I thought he was going to be a later first round guy. And then he had his Senior Bowl and people were talking about him at 4. So it's projection. But when I hear a lot of people talk about him, it's, his technique is so clean. Oh, he has the best bend. Oh, he has the best flexibility. And I just don't see that. So if you're talking about him, he's still raw as a pass rusher. So when I hear the hype, it usually like comes with saying how clean he is a pass rusher. And that's just not nearly the case for me. I don't get where people get that from. So James Wickhouse, we had Jack X Factor stacked up in here. What's up, fellas? Take sauce and don't look back. And
James is smart.
Yeah. And like Andrew, everybody at Jets Factor is smart. I'm not.
I know. I'm complimenting James because I agree with his take.
Yeah. So okay, I'll just say that's like my worst case scenario right now. It's like Thibodeau, Hutchinson, Sauce, 1, 2, 3. I'd be like, what are we doing here? And the Jets grab a guard in free agency. It's like, fuck, what do we do? But yeah, I'll go to the super chat. We'll get to the rest of the stuff. Let's see. From Fernando Velez, would you move up for Hutch, fill big holes in free agency like cornerback, safety, guard, wide receiver? We have plenty of assets, and we could probably still have high picks to fill their needs. What would you think the cost would be? So where? Like, is it to pick 2? Or are we talking about to pick 3? And who went 1? You know, like, or what do you think about that, Kyle? I'll let you answer. I should pull up on.
I would definitely move up for Hutch. I just wonder what it would take.
Okay, you know, so let's say
you're moving right up now, potentially 2 picks. So is it that big of a, you know, do you flip your first pick in the second round? Because if that's what I have to do to move up 2 spots, I'm doing that.
You're doing that. Yeah.
Dude, what is the floor with Aiden Hutchinson? His floor is super, super, super high. Right?
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Versus I think you're a lot higher on Thibodeau, or at least decently higher on Thibodeau than me.
Yeah.
And we both admit that his floor is, you know, he doesn't have a high floor. Like, you know,
his floor could be low. Yeah.
So for me, okay, I get it. You'd rather have, you know, some people would rather have Kayvon and then the very early second round pick. I get that. But for me, I'd rather have the surefire safe bet. And that's when I watch Hutchinson, he is that. Like, he is the guy.
Yeah. We have him, at least I did, you know, watching that. And I did a review probably a month ago, right? At this point, I have him pretty comfortably as the best player in this class. And I get, in terms of, which we'll get to the rest of the numbers, he's 6'7", 260, 32-inch arms. The arms are short for his size. Get that. That's a knock. 100% is. You want them to be a little bit longer, but people are kind of shitting on his times, or like just him as an athlete.
His recon was really good, right?
Dude, he had a 36 vertical jump. He had a 6.73 cone. The average for a defensive lineman is 7.29. He had a 4.15 20 shuttle. The average is 4.44. He had the best 3 cone out of all the DNs. I'm pretty sure it was number 1, unless somebody took him over. And 20-yard shuttle the entire class. And people say, "Oh, he can't move. He has a limited athletic ceiling." Is he Chandler Jones? No. Is he Khalil Mack? No.
Let's just be honest.
Is he Von Miller? No.
His numbers. All right. So everybody was, because of the number 97, Big Ten. People were making the comparison for months now of the Bosa brothers, and that's kind of silly. Just okay, white 97, Big Ten, like
yeah,
that's a little silly. But when you look at some of those times, it's similar to the Bosa brothers. Like they both had very good three cones, both the Bosa brothers. They ran in the 4.7-ish ranges. So okay, they didn't run the fastest 40 out there. Like, right, their jumps weren't bad, right? Their shuttles were good. So I mean, I actually just tried to plug him in mock draftable, and I guess they didn't put his numbers up there yet. But I'm interested because I bet you their spider graphs are pretty similar. Hutchinson to the Bosa brothers.
And listen, like I think Bosa going back, I probably would have I liked his film, and that's when I was watching the Hutchinson review, which I hope you guys do. I hope the subscribers do. 160 people in here. I appreciate all of you. Hopefully at least 80 of you subscribe and watch the videos on Jets X Factor. But I'm going over his film. Like, what are the I get, okay, not the best bend. Sure, he can't bend that much. But when you win really cleanly with your hands, you don't have to bend that much. And this is what I'm watching. I'm like, why are people down on this prospect? And like, oh, well, the Bosa brothers and these guys are so much better than him. The games I watched, which I'm always transparent with in the ones that I watched, which was Ohio State, Iowa, and Georgia, he was winning like every other rep. Like easily winning every rep. Not
dominating,
sacks, not Ojabo was helping him out. He was dominating his opponents in front of him. So the
snap
massive
timing and dude, watch that Iowa Big Ten championship game. These tackles, they're getting their ass beat all game. So they're trying to bail early. They're trying to, they're opening up their hips so quick to try to get to him because his snap timing's good, his get off's good. And then they're opening themselves up way too much. And then he's just ramming them down with power and just throwing them all over the place, man. It was just, dominant performance.
He has solid burst, not elite burst. He has good speed, not elite speed. His bend is not good. It's okay. But his change of direction from like lateral change of direction explosion is very good. His technique is very good. His motor is very good. His leverage is very good. So like why? And that's what during that review, Kyle, I was like, how is he not DN1? I don't get it. Maybe if you're betting on upside, sure, but the floor versus him versus anybody else is his floor dominates other guys' floors in this class. I don't see him being like a truly bad player. But we'll get through. I see some people talking about Thibodeau. Yeah, we'll get to the Thibodeau stuff, everybody. Somebody apologize for being late. So. Don't apologize for being late. I appreciate being here in general. So other than that, let's see for the other guys. Day 2 of the combine. I'm sorry if it's a little bit old for some of you guys. I just wanted to go over it because I know some of their streams talk about it. I talked about it on Brian's stream when I was on there on Monday, but I want the people who just watched this one to get it to a little bit. Day 2, Kyle, offensive line running back, the standouts. Aquanu moved well, 4.93, which is really good for him. Waiting a little bit later than I thought he would. Cross 4.95.
What was his weight?
I think he was like 310.
Okay.
305. No, 310. I'm pretty sure it's 310. A little bit lighter. Zion Johnson, 32 bench reps was good. 1.8 10-yard split, which is good. Trevor Penning impressed. I think Breece Hall, the running back, 4.39 impressed. Kenneth Walker ran a 4.38. Like I thought he was a power guy, but a 4.38 is obviously really good. I don't know if there's anybody else from the offensive. I think Cole Strange was another guy who impressed. I don't know the rest of some of the numbers, but I don't know if you have anybody else to add to that. In terms of the O-line, D-line. Again, I'm just trying to recap it pretty fast. So
no.
Day 2, bad guys. Bad guys. Kenyon Green when I was watching, he looked pretty slow in drills. And this is the thing, Kyle. We were watching, or we both, I did that review. If you're a power team, if you're an inside zone team, if you're a tight team, okay, I'm cool with it. For the Jets, I just don't think he's the best fit for an outside zone system. So I don't think he's realistically a Jets player. And then you have some of the drills where he didn't look the most fluid in his movements. I don't see it with him for the Jets, but I don't hate him. I don't hate him as a player, just not for the system. There's going to be some players who are not system fits.
Yeah. I said to you that personally, like, it's just me. I watched one complete game on my own of him. I watched it, very slow and went through it. Watched each play many times. And that was before I watched your review. And I was texting you that I wasn't a huge fan, especially given our scheme. And I just said, I don't think he moves that well. And, but he's a strong dude and stuff, but I don't see like that monster nastiness type of mentality.
His lower body is ridiculously strong though, to me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's definitely a strong dude.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I was saying like I'm not super interested in him early second round. And I was like, I don't see a first round guard because I was looking up some mock drafts to just kind of gauge where
For a power inside zone team, I think he's a first round pick.
Okay.
I don't think for the Jets.
Yeah, definitely not the Jets, but if I'm the Patriots, do I want to take him in the first round? I don't know, but I think he would look good in a Patriots uniform now, is what I said to you. But still, yeah. I don't know. I don't know that I want to take him in the first round.
Ton of comments coming in.
Dude, I like when I watched your film review, I was like, okay, maybe Blewett, he watched more games than me. Maybe he's seeing some things that I'm not seeing, and I still wasn't blown away. I really wasn't.
Neil, the only thing I put in there is like the other tackles played really well, and him not testing. Like you'd want to see him test, and he was going to do it at his pro day. He came in at 330 though. Again, I don't think he was a bully enough to play on the inside at 360. Him losing weight, I really don't think he's an inside guy. And like some people, and maybe it's just my Neil bias, but people are like, oh, that's a great looking 330. But he looked like a skinny 330. Like we didn't have a lot of muscle. Like I wasn't impressed by his body tone for a 330-pound guy. Like I looked at the picture of his shirt off. I was kind of like, huh? Like what? I don't know if you saw the picture, Kyle.
I did, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, all right, yeah. So maybe it's just my Neil bias. Quinnen Williams, the running back from Notre Dame, 4.65. People have dropped him a little bit, and then one of the potential Jets options, Linderbaum, having 31-inch arms and what weighed like 292, 295. Light, short arms. Discussion at 10. Is it can we take this guy? To me, I don't think it's worth it, to be completely honest. I like Linderbaum. I think if the Jets just didn't have a center straight up, right? We have a conversation at 10. I don't think he's worth it to displace Connor McGovern, who you're going to say, oh, he played guard his rookie year. He played guard his rookie year for a couple of games, and the numbers didn't really fare out so well. So that's not – oh, sorry, I saw the super chat on the screen. I always do that. Thank you for the super chat again, Fernando. But yeah, I don't think it's worth displacing McGovern for him. And even with the 10th pick in general, like at center, he's not generational to me when I watch it. I like him. I definitely like him. But now, the lightness that he carries, the 31-inch arms, I don't think so.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes you can see like his lack of strength on film, and he, sometimes like if his technique's not really good, he can get thrown around a decent amount. And it's only going to be harder at the next level. Yeah. And you think back to the guy who came from NC State a couple of years ago, drafted by the Vikings. Yeah, Bradbury. Yeah. He hasn't had the best career so far in the NFL. So,
dude, it doesn't matter how clean your technique is. Sometimes it just comes down to strength. And if you're 290, 295, and you can't, what is he going to do with Jordan Davis bull rushing him in the NFL? I don't know. And we'll have to see. But getting through the rest of this, because I want to get to your chats a little bit. I'll scroll through some of the stuff that really stands out. Not saying all your comments don't stand out, but if anything catches my eye, I'll scroll through it really quick. Day 3, Kyle, before we get to, I don't know if was there a day? Oh, there was a day 4. Day 3, I had listed a ton of guys. I'll go through them really quickly, and I don't have to go through the numbers. Jordan Davis, Wyatt from Georgia, dominated it. Clark, the linebacker from LSU, 6'2", 240, 4.57, 36-inch vert, 10.7 broad. He looked good. Trayvon Walker, probably him and Davis, the winners of this combine. You probably, I would, off the top of my head, 6'5", 272, 4.51, 35-inch vert, 35-inch arms. Looked smooth in drills. A 3.89 3-cone. Like the dude's a fucking monster. Excuse my French, but he is. Thibodeau.
Did you mention his arms and I just missed it?
35-inch arms.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that I said in that review, I think he's gonna have like 34, 35-inch arms when I was watching him. And 35-inch arms is a massive advantage for anybody, really in the sport, but especially when you're playing on the edge like that. So that's awesome. Thibodeau. Do you want to get to the whole conversation? How much do you kind of
probably a good idea? It seems like a lot of people want to in the chat and stuff.
So your thoughts. And I know there's been a lot of questions about this. Just in terms of the drills, 4.58, good time, good 10-yard split. I forget exactly what it was, but I know people were hyping up the 10-yard split. Great. So what I heard was that he told teams he was going to do the rest of the positional drills, and that he didn't do the positional drills. So like, what is that about?
Was there an injury? No.
And then didn't come out yet, an injury. And then like with the whole Bama interview thing, whatever, like I don't necessarily like disagree with what he was saying in that interview on whatever network he was on a couple of months ago. talking about Alabama and the education stuff, because like just keep it to yourself. So that kind of turns me off a little bit, even though I don't disagree with what he was saying. And then you hear some of the rumors. And again, with this all being said, Kyle, like we know how this works, or we think we know how it works. Like there could be teams who are sitting at 5-6 pushing out this shit to hope the Jets pass on them so they can draft him. So I would like to think that the Jets are going to do their due diligence. And if they don't feel the same way that we feel or that other people feel, they're going to take him. Like they have him in interviews. But then you hear teams come out and say that he's bringing up his brand, 3 or 4 times in interviews. And then people are asking him.
A span of 16 minutes.
Yeah, in a span of 16 minutes, he's bringing up his brand. And then teams are asking him about, I'm getting a little bit of echo from you, Kyle. I don't know if that's.
Oh, okay. I'll try to take care of that. Sorry.
Yeah, a little, just a tiny bit. But, and then you have people I think the Giants asked him specifically, and there's probably a reason they asked him. It's like, hey, if you don't get a couple of sacks in your first couple of games, or you're struggling, I don't know exactly how they worded it, like how are you going to react? Because it seems like he's a guy who's uber confident, who kind of, to me, talks, and there's a difference between cockiness and confidence, and to me he's a little cocky, like his shit don't stink. So like if he's losing, if he's not getting the contract he wants, if he's not getting the playing time he wants, if he's not getting the sacks he wants, like these are questions for me. I'm not saying don't draft him. I'm saying this is stuff that Joe Douglas has to figure out for me. But like a couple months ago, we're running up to the podium for him at 4. Now it's like, are we taking him at 4? And I think Jets fans, it almost feels like you guys are like 50-50. Guys in the chat, I'm sure we'll see it in a couple of minutes. Half the people want him, half the people don't want him, because you can't say you're not a little bit turned off by his attitude, especially coming off the whole Jamal Adams saga. And like Jamal Adams was happy camper his first couple of years. Like he seemed like a great guy, but he didn't kind of display the me stuff.
Sign fans for every single fan that wanted to wait for it after practice.
Yeah. Like so Thibodeau's kind of showing it early and talking about like, listen, dude, when I go to the job interviews, I'm not like me, my brand, me. It's like what can I do to help the team? I'll improve on whatever you guys need me to do. Like, so how are you feeling about it? Because it's sketchy, because like we'd love for him to interview really well, and then he falls to 4 and he's a slam dunk pick. But now if you were to tell me, hey, right now Jets take Thibodeau at 4, I'm like, okay, like I have a lot of questions. I don't feel warm and fuzzy. Like I love the talent, but what is he going to be like in the locker room?
There was also that one thing where apparently it wasn't like in a game, but it was like some type of training thing or whatever. I don't remember the exact context. And he was saying that he was dominating against Evan Neal. And, I saw some of the reps, and Evan Neal was actually dominating against him. So it's like he just lied and made that up. And he kind of seemed like he was being all cocky about it and stuff too. So
yeah, it's like be like you want him to have a slice of humble pie, because you're not gonna be able to do that in the NFL. And like he wasn't even dominating, but like even if we match up, Kyle, like, and you're a guy from another SEC school, I'm like, yeah, I dominated Kyle. Like who, like, oh, like why say that out loud? Like you kind of seem like a douche, like to me. And I'm not trying to like, I just don't want to toe the line of like being like on the fence. He seems like a douche to me. Now, can you have a guy who's a douche and is a really good pick, and lights up the league? That's what I care about the most. But like, how is he going to react after a couple of years of maybe not wanting to pay, New York taxes? How is he going to react if the Jets lose a couple of games? Like the Giants asked him, how is he going to react if he doesn't get a sack for a couple of games? How is he going to react to coaching? Does he think that he knows everything? And what if the D-line coach tell him, hey, change up this technique? Is he gonna adhere to that coaching? Like there's a lot of questions.
And supposedly that's the thing that Jeremiah has been on the record saying about him, is that, okay, he was at Oregon for 3 years and his game hasn't really improved over that span. So you have to wonder, it's like, okay, he thinks he's the shit coming out of high school. He knows he has all this talent, but maybe he's not really taking to coaching that much. Maybe he's not putting as much time in the film room as someone like Carl Loftus Didn't I hear some report at the combine that Carl Loftus spills an insane,
like they literally had to like lock him out of the room watching film.
Yeah.
And then he came in with better numbers than we thought, which we'll go over in a little bit too.
Okay. Yeah. And so it's not just the numbers. And by the way, are you getting the echo still?
Nope.
Okay, cool.
Turn on their volume on the computer, I guess.
Correct. And I hope it worked. So, and for me too, like that's definitely a concern. Like, okay, if there's this much smoke and it's still this kind of early in the process, it has to be somewhat of a concern. Like, all right, if you don't hear anything about a guy and then all of a sudden you're a week away from the draft and you hear something, okay, then your BS meter really has to, start flashing. Yeah. But when you're hearing this stuff for months before the draft and it's thing after thing, it's okay. Maybe they're there is a little something to that smoke I'm seeing over there. But then when you hear some of this stuff and then you kind of watch his tape, well, it does kind of add up. He does. Somebody said in the chat, he takes plays off. He assuredly takes plays off.
And Kyle,
it's so evident on his film.
That's what I was going to bring up too. And this is the good thing about it. I can pull up it on my screen right now, guys. I have timestamps of when I recorded these plays. And this was, Kyle, I recorded that play. You watched that review before you heard any of the concerns about that, right? Or at least really, really early on the process, because nobody told me about that. And I was watching the film and I heard high motor, high this, high that. And whatever you guys want to think, and I see people like, oh, BS, media narrative. If you don't trust me, don't trust me. That's fine. There are plays he takes off on film. It's 1,000% there. In the full review, I think I show some play. I'm not sure if I show a play in that review actually, but it is 1,000% there. He does not have the motor of Jermaine Johnson or Carl Loftus or Hutchinson. He quits on some plays where he knows he's not going to get to the quarterback, and sometimes it's a little bit frustrating. And he's not that Nick Bosa level, Garrett level prospect. Like, he has physical tools, not elite tools, very, very good tools, but he's also very raw. So looking at a guy who's raw, who thinks his shit doesn't stink, at least that's what it seems like, is he going to turn up to be a good prospect? I don't know. And
can we talk about taking the plays off in a little bit more depth for a moment? Because, dude, I don't want anybody taking plays off. Every play matters in football. Every yard matters, changes down in distance, all that kind of stuff. But when you're talking about defensive ends, like, other than maybe running back and possibly maybe receiver, what position group is taking more plays off than a defensive lineman, right? They already get a good amount of plays off, right? Like, think about how the Jets did their rotation last year. Like, they would full series.
Oh, you're talking about like actual plays.
Where you wouldn't see Quinnen Williams in. So if I already have a guy who already is getting breathers and stuff, so he's already not on the field for a certain percentage, but then when he is on the field, he's taking plays off. It's like, dude, how much you really impacting the game if even when I have you out there, you're taking plays off and stuff.
Yeah. And depending on how the board falls, obviously, like, it's a different conversation depending on how it falls. Gun to my head right now, depending on who's there, I'm leaning no at 4, but that's for the Jets to figure out. If the Jets are comfortable with him, if Joe Douglas is comfortable with him, you take him. But there are a lot of flags that don't seem like smoke to me. It just so. Again, executives going out there and saying, hey, bring up his brand. Like, Kyle, if I'm talking to you in a conversation about you joining my team, you're like, well, Kyle's brand, and Kyle can join Nike, and I want this after football. It's like, yeah. Like, I don't really know, man. Like, so I
also just don't love his film that much.
Yeah,
I really don't.
Yeah, and people will think I'm crazy for this, but like, his film versus Hutchinson's film, Hutchinson blows his film out of the water to me. And I'm not just saying that to say that, guys. Like, go and watch when
you watch Hutchinson's film, and it's like, you very rarely see a negative play.
Yeah,
and there's a ton of like highlight plays. Like, everyone likes to point out like that Ohio State play where he just he's pointing out the tackle and talking shit before the play, and then he just blows him up. Right. So like, he has those highlight plays, but it's like, man, where's the negative play? When you watch Thibodeau, though, like, it's like, you want to talk like we've talked a lot about Jermaine Johnson and the lack of a pass rush plan, and Thibodeau definitely doesn't take the wasted steps. And, so for example, when you watch Hutchinson, like, man, there's always a good plan. He's stabbing inside, getting the tackle to bite inside, and then he's going out. Mm-hmm. But Johnson's just a bunch of wasted steps, but like Kayvon, like, it's just like so many times he's trying to win with power. It's like, bro, you're not that powerful, right? Like, so many times I'm watching, I'm like, dude, I really want to see you just get off quickly off the snap and dip around this guy, like Von Miller type of style. And I just don't see it that often. And it's
not Von Miller.
It bothers me.
I think he has he has good bend. He has, I would say not elite burst, but great burst. But he's not as flexible as bendy as like the bendiest guys out there. So like, I think his athleticism is at like an 8.5, 9 out of 10. So I think his athleticism are really, really good in certain areas. But he's not a freak of nature. And then you put it on top of the fact that there are some technical concerns. And then you put it on top of the fact that there obviously are red flags in terms of him as a person. And again, we're not in the meeting rooms. We could be completely wrong, but based on what I do for a profession, I have a relatively good read for character. I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling who.
I'm
who
not
he
interested
is.
at 4. I'm not. I'm
And by the way,
sorry. At this point in time,
we said 200 people in here, and I think like 10 of them dropped off. I think that's the most we ever had in here. So I appreciate you guys. I think 200 is the highest we ever gotten. So appreciate a lot of nice comments and stuff in here. Frederick Girth Brooks or Girth Brooks. I want to highlight that in a little bit.
Thanks,
Gesso
Girth.
on YouTube. Appreciate that.
And thanks to the other 2 people that did super chats. By the way, did we get to the first super chat?
I'm gonna go down the list in a little bit. People are saying Girth Brooks also said Sauce at 4, Carl Loftus at 10. I am signing Dial Line for that right now. Kyle, would you sign right now for that? 2 seconds. You have 2 seconds. Sauce 4, Carl Loftus 10.
Yes, sure, yeah.
Yeah, sure. Depending.
Is it the absolute ideal scenario? No, but I like both players.
We want Hutchinson at 4, and
they're both huge needs and
yeah.
both very valuable positions.
Dude,
so
yeah, and Karlaftis and Walker are fighting DN3 for me right now. I like Karlaftis' film much more better than Walker, but his ceiling, man, that's a conversation we'll get into.
Yeah, just based off those numbers I think are, at least in some areas, better than Myles Garrett. Like the 40's better than Myles Garrett. I don't think the jumps are as high.
Be careful, Kyle.
Oh! I'm not saying the film's.
No, I know, because I have some people who are pretty loyal to me now, which is awesome. I'm not gonna say who sends me messages, but I compared. So this is what I said about Garrett Wilson. I said that his movement skills. Say again, his movement skills are OBJ like. I did not say that he is OBJ. So somebody said,
you were very clear. You were very clear on that point.
No, I know, but other people misconstrued that. I'm not going to say who, what, when, where, why. That I said he's OBJ. Movement skills and player are very, 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 very different. So just please get it from the source. Which, Kyle, by the way, that same person sent me something that somebody said. I said GVR was an average player. I think maybe later, once the stream loses some steam, we should maybe I should like pull a clip of me talking about how he's as bad as a guy with double amputee. I don't know.
That's an all-time great line. Sure.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna bring that up later. So I never say he's average. I think the only thing I said about GVR was that he's a bad starter, but there's a difference between a bad starter and a bad backup. I think that's the only thing I've ever said. But we can talk about it a different day. Continuing this because I need to get to the chat because people are. Excuse my French, but it's fucking flying right now. So appreciate you guys a lot. Jermaine Johnson, good 40. Look explosive as well. Channing Tyndall.
What was his 40? I saw it, but I forgot.
4.58.
Okay. Yeah.
Tyndall, 42-inch vert, 10.9 broad, 44 or 4.47 40. Muma didn't have numbers, but no, he impressed on a couple of lists. Troy Anderson, 6'4", 243, 442, near 99 RAS, which is it 9.99 RAS? Christian Harris, 444, Leo Chanel, 9.99 RAS, 6'3", 250. Dude, the linebackers in the middle rounds were just blowing up the combine. Travis Jones, the tackle from UConn.
But Lloyd his 40 was a little slow.
We're going to talk about him in a second. Karlaftis. Now, this is the guy who, Kyle, listen, because I heard this one time on the internet, you can't draft Karlaftis because he's not a good athlete. He has short arms, right? His ceiling is very, very low. And you could tell that he's not a great athlete based on his 30-inch vertical jump, his 10+ foot broad jump, his 4.36 shuttle, and the fact that he's 6'4", 266, and he has 32 and 5/8 inch arms. So his arms are longer than Hutchinson's, who people never complained about. So you have Karlaftis, who, while raw, and he's not the most bendy guy, in terms of like that we talk about, or I bring up a lot in terms of like how I compare guys like changing lanes direction, like car changing lanes versus like a, slow down, gear down, U-turn, reaccelerate type change. He's not good in the open field like that. And he's not the best bender, but you have a guy who's clearly explosive, who has good power, who has good technique, who's relatively new to the game of football. Dude, Karlaftis, like his numbers, he was a big riser too. Like that's why you had Girth Brooks in the chat, who I appreciate the super chat before, saying, "Hey, him at 10, I would sign up for him at 10 right now. Like he might not make it to 10." And there's people, later teens, why? Because you heard one time he doesn't have good bend, it makes him not a good pass rusher. Like did the Ravens were they not happy with Terrell Suggs because he had short arms? Were the Chargers mad with Melvin Ingram because he had short arms? Like we have to get past just traits. Everybody's just so traits. The film matters a lot too, people. It does. And he backed up him not being as bad of an athlete as some people thought he was.
Yeah. Yeah, I like this player. What exactly were his arms? I saw it, but I forget what it was.
32 and 5/8 inches.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously less than ideal, but yeah,
They're not T-Rex arms.
Yeah. So you want to talk about like, okay, if he's still relatively new to the game of football too, so there's obviously, that calls into question, okay, his ceiling. So Golden likes Jermaine Johnson because projection, ceiling, okay, and I kind of do get that to an extent, but then you also can argue that, he has that. And, we were talking about his film study before and, knowing what angles to take. He's not the best bender in the world, but he knows the proper angles to take. And I think that's something like, okay, that shows a dedication and love to the game of football and an understanding of like what path you should take when trying to rush the passer. So yeah, I think he's a pretty safe player, man. I do like him. And I look forward to watching him more. One of the things that you and I, when we were texting back and forth, was whether or not when I have my final ranking, so to speak, if I'm going to have him over Thibodeau, because right now I'm definitely considering it. I'll say that, which is probably a crazy take. And I would assume that 150 something people in here would probably think I'm crazy for saying that. But right now I'm seriously thinking about it. I liked more what I saw from Karlaftis than Thibodeau so far.
And stick to your takes, dude. Like that's fine, because like a lot of people, you gotta understand, and I'm not talking shit about, I hope all 186 people in this room aren't like that. But a lot of people base their opinions off of other people who, if you really look into what they're saying, a lot of these big wig media guys, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Let's just be honest. And it's 4 minutes of highlight tapes. Jalen Marshall, great player. Greg Dortch, great player. Like, we have to get past the such like shallow reviews of guys that you can't know a player in 5-10 minutes. You just can't. It's impossible. So, and then people will attach their lives to those opinions. Dude, fuck you. Karlaftis sucks, bro. You're an idiot. And it's like, and then like in their mind, like, yeah, I watch like 5 minutes, like that. But they attach themselves so strongly to an opinion because of what reason? It's like, it is mind blowing to me that people do that, but it is what it is. So, and you talk about like Karlaftis, like, okay, yeah, he doesn't have the best bend, but the way he's like, you're talking about him, like you said, Jermaine Johnson, like the way his pass rush plan, how he softens his angles and knows how to pace his footwork to corner at the right time versus Jermaine Johnson, completely different ballpark in terms of a pass rusher. His flashes when he does that. So I like him as a better pass rusher than him. Now, again, Jermaine Johnson has the better tackle radius. He has a better, large scale change of direction. He has better length.
Who do you think's a better run defender?
The problem is, like, you watch it like thousands of reps ago, so it's like it's kind of hard to go off the top of my head. Based on what I remember, I would say Johnson is probably more consistent as a run defender, but not by much. But again, that's just me being honest. I'm not remembering.
The thing about Karlaftis too is you can slide him into 3 techniques sometimes, and I don't think he'd be horrible there. Like, right. So like in a pinch, you want to switch things up, throw the defense off a little, throw the offense off a little bit,
Okay. So, getting to the, bad guys from day 3, we're going to do day 4. I'm going to get to a lot of your chats, like lightning around, because we have so much shit to go through right now. It's just, this show is going to be long. The bad Kyle was, again, Hutchinson, 32-inch arms, but like I said, 6'7", 260, not the best bend, but again, 4.74, not the best time, but 36-inch vert, near 10-foot broad, a little bit under it, not great. 6.73 3-cone, 7.29 is the average. 4.15 20 shuttle, 4.44 is the average. Best 3-cone, best 20-yard shuttle in the edge class. So he's a terrible athlete. Like, so his ceiling is bad because he can't bend the best, but he has some really great movement skills. Like, it's way overblown with him. Clearly, again, DN1 in the class, so I guess he had a bad day because he had short arms, but it is what it is. Kingsley Eganbari, whatever his name is, 4.87 40. People weren't impressed with him. And then you mentioned Lloyd, Kyle. And I said it in the review, if you guys watch the review, which you will eventually. And this might be because that his footwork is very, very clunky. Like, he needs to condense a lot of his footwork because he's very loose with his feet and doesn't lead to like the best breaks. But he kind of looked average in like movement in his drills, 4.66. And I like Lloyd, but he kind of hurt himself, I think, a little bit. Anybody else want to add or anything you want to comment on that?
Well, did you mention Dean's times?
No.
I'm curious to hear his.
I don't know if Yeah, I don't know if he popped up in a good or a bit. I don't know if he even did he run or anything. I don't think he.
I don't
Maybe he
remember
didn't run.
seeing anything. That's partially
Yeah,
why I'm asking.
I don't think he did. And the thing with Dean is like I get he's short. And I don't think he's an option for the Jets at 4 or 10 to be completely honest. But people are like, oh, he's so short. He's 6 foot, okay, and he's too small. He's like 225, 230, and weight per square inch. He's not small. Like he has some build to him. So you're not going to draft a linebacker because
he's
short.
a fun player. He's definitely
he's a real fun player. I don't think he's a fun player for the Jets unless you trade down maybe, but at 10 probably not. Even though he's one of my top 3 favorite players in the draft. Like him and Icky, Icky, Sauce are like some of the like absolute crushes, minus Hutchinson, who you're expecting that.
Lloyd's he was an interesting watch.
Yeah.
Like that pick 6 that he had, there was sometimes like, it's like, yeah, his technique, and sometimes it looks ugly, but those times are surprising, to be honest, because he seemed to move better on film.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how to put it into words, but sorry, I gotta mute my phone. But I kind of like what he brings from a pass rush standpoint.
Oh,
dude, some
like
people were
he
has some legitimate pass rush skills.
Oh yeah, he's not just like a blitzing linebacker. Like you can line him up as a stand-up D end on plays, and he can legitimately get to the quarterback. You can line him up on on tight ends, cover them because of length and strength and the want to. He doesn't have as hot of a motor as Dean does. I don't think he's as smart of a player as Dean does. But in terms of like a defense like the Ravens or the Pats, like somebody who's going to move him around a lot, put him as a D end, line him up on the line of scrimmage, line up in the A gap, drop into different zones. Like a guy's going to move him around a lot. I think that would be a better fit than for the Jets, where the Jets are kind of, they feel, and I don't have to go back and chart, but they feel like they're more based with their linebackers, where they're not asking them to do a ton of blitzing and things like that. So I don't know if he'd be the best fit for the Jets in terms of taking advantage of his athleticism, what he could do. I feel like Dean would probably be the better fit, but he's also Dean. They're different players. Like they're different, but we're not going to get into this whole thing. But I like both. I like both, but he did disappoint a little bit. Day 4, get to that real quick. Again, get to the chat. Sauce 441 dude at 6'3", 33-inch arms. Like he confirmed everything. People take him at 10. Bullshit. He's not falling to 10. I would put a lot of money. He's not falling to 10. You want Sauce? You're taking him at 4. He's not falling.
By the way, do you do draft bets? Do you like bet on where guys get drafted and stuff? Because I know you're a decent gambler.
Oh yeah, I will.
So make that bet then.
Oh, I will. And the thing is, like, to me, and it's a conversation we'll have about the draft, is like, okay, so what is the drop off? Let's just assume Hutchinson's on the board. What is the drop off between Thibodeau, Karlaftis, Walker, Jermaine Johnson, between Sauce, McDuffie, Stingley?
So are you? I'm not understanding.
I'm taking the argument of, and again, ideal world, I want the D end at 4. Don't really risk it. Okay. But I'm just bringing the other side of the argument where it's okay. The difference between Sauce, corner number 1, then don't give me he's hyped up because of combine bullshit, because I said he's gonna be a top 10 pick before the combine.
Film was great.
Yeah, film was great. Would you rather take him at 4 because the difference between him and D end, D end 2 and 3 and 4 kind of like in a similar range, where the difference between Sauce, corner 1, and corner 2 and 3 is a much bigger gap? It's a conversation I have.
Yeah. I mean, right now where I stand, and I've been saying this for over a month, I'm not acting like I'm one of the, I think I'm one of the first ones to say that I'm comfortable with taking Sauce at 4, but I know I said it on here over a month that I would take Sauce over several players. And I did say that, including Icky, which probably a lot of Jets fans would disagree with me about. And I do want to watch more of him too. And I will watch more of him, and I do like him a lot.
Over Icky?
Yeah. And for me, the reason why I said that, and I could be persuaded to change my mind. I still see Icky more as a guard at the next level. And I know that, like, I think you kind of, when I said this 2 weeks ago, you kind of like raised your eyebrows a little bit, and you kind of made a face that you make when you think I say something stupid. I didn't love Icky's feet in pass protection.
No, we said he oversets, he 2-hand punches, and guys can time it up. And the thing is, like, inside, people aren't going to be able to time that up as well. So for the Jets, do you take him as a guard? If he's an elite guard, you keep him at guard. You have an elite guard, or do you try to develop him as a tackle? Like I think that could be worked on. I don't think it's anything like brutal enough to not take him. But no, he's not a slam dunk. Like you're talking
so that was kind of my main point. Where like, okay, if I'm taking a guy who I kind of see at this point more as a guard, I'd rather take a corner who I feel like has like a really high floor.
Yeah. So it's a conversation. Again, just bringing both sides of the argument. What's that phrase you say? People wouldn't argue a lot if they knew the terms of the argument. Whatever.
Yeah, if they can agree on definitions. And
in a vacuum, just with knowing nothing about the team, Sauce versus Icky. I'm taking Sauce. With Zach Wilson and needing to help him, are you taking Icky? Depends on what to do at guard or tackle in free agency, So
very fair
I would say Sauce is the better player, but I want to help out Zach Wilson. So where do we go?
And it really matters, like how exactly do you? That's why. Okay, and this is why people have draft number grades, and I know that you're kind of not the hugest person in the world on doing that. Like I have this guy's a 9.72, but I do think that that's kind of important. Just so you can kind of have a baseline. Okay, what is the gap between these players? Because if I have Sauce as a 9 and I have Icky as an 8.3, that's a big gap.
Yeah,
definitely gonna take Sauce, right? But if it's like a 0.1/100th, okay, then then you can factor in need and fit for the team as well.
Yeah. Other than that, what is it? Jalen Davis or whatever his name is from Bama, 6'1", 197, 4.39. People were impressed with him. Sign. I don't know how to say it from Georgia, the safety. 6'2", 199 or 199, 4.38. Nick Cross, Maryland, impressed. 6 foot 212, 4.4, 40. Tariq Woolen, 6'4", 205, ran a 4.26. Like that's gonna stand out. Obviously. And then the bad from the corners and safeties, day 4, the last one we'll get to, I'll run through the chat. We'll get through some of our other stuff. Is McDuffie, 29.5-inch arms. It's going to hurt him a little bit. It is 4.4, 4.40. I want it a little bit faster. So I think he hurt himself just a tiny bit. The arms aren't great. Hamilton, 4.59, 40. He just didn't look right. So I'm not going to kill him on it because he looked better than that on film. I'm not going to lie. I don't want to just hammer him because of whatever. Kyler Gordon, 4.52. People thought he was going to be faster. And Kobe Bryant, Cincinnati corner, 4.54. People said, he looked a little tight. I didn't really watch him, but that's what I saw. So I couldn't watch every single hour of that. I work midnights. So anything to add? And then we'll get to the chat. And then we have a lot of topics to still hit on. In the
so you said you wouldn't hammer Hamilton, and I agree with not hammering him. And I care more about like what his play speed is on film as opposed to a 40. But we were expecting almost
unicorn,
basically 2/10 of a second faster. Like we were thinking maybe high 4.3s, low 4.4s.
Yeah,
4.59. That's a big difference. So it's like, okay, was he injured? And if he wasn't, then is he this fast? And the whole reason he was even in discussion at pick 4 is because you're thinking, you have a guy back there who can play center field and he's shaded on one side of the field. You trust him to get all the way to, the other sideline. Like he can play one hash all the way to the other sideline. Yeah. And when you're talking 4.59 speed, can he? So okay, don't hammer him, but it's a big question. I'm here for the Evan Neal bitch quotes.
No more of those. Which player surprised you, Joe? We just went through that. I saw a comment too. Somebody said like, who is the player who's like the most overhyped in the draft right now? Evan Neal. The perfect timing for this comment.
I really hope he goes 1, man.
Dude, if they take him at 4, especially if I'll have a couple of brews in me, I might cry if they take him at 4. I don't. That's the worst case scenario for me is him at 4. I would absolutely hate it. And I don't get it. I don't get it at all. And if you guys have Twitter, if you guys aren't, if you guys haven't seen me do this on, on like live stream, on a live stream, go to my Twitter, type in JoeRB31 Neal, and then look for the videos. And I tag somebody in like a 25, no, probably not 25 plays, maybe like 15 to 20 play, just play after play after play after play of Neal getting absolutely bitched. So the evidence is there.
I don't know how I missed that one.
You missed it? It's there. We can go through it later if we get.
Okay, cool.
I don't think we're gonna have enough time to be completely honest. So MB99, big supporter. What's up, Joe and Kyle? Who do you think will be the most durable, consistent out of the two, Amari Cooper or Allen Robinson? I would say in a vacuum, minus price and all that stuff. Right now, I have more faith in Amari Cooper, but he's going to cost more, maybe even draft picks, and financially, might cost $20 million ish a year, depending on what happens with the contract.
Wait,
Robinson
Joe, I haven't really
15.
seen a lot of people talking about this, but this is something that's come to my mind a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it that a couple years ago, when Amari Cooper was a free agent, right? This is the year after Dallas traded for him, but his contract was expiring, and a lot of people thought Dallas was going to re-sign him. But I did not see a lot of Jets wanting to sign him, even though the Jets had a young quarterback at the time, I think in Sam Darnold, if I'm not mistaken. Why is it now that years later, Jets fans really want to, potentially break the bank for Amari Cooper, but you weren't willing to give him $20 million a year a couple years ago? I'm not quite understanding that.
To be honest, I don't really remember that happening. Like, I remember him getting signed, but I don't remember. Well,
I'm saying a lot of Jets fans were not interested.
He got traded for, though.
He got traded, but then he was an unrestricted free agent.
Oh, he signed back with them?
Yeah, and he re-signed with them. But I'm just saying a lot of Jets fans are like, he's going to cost a ton, stay away. But if I'm not mistaken, the Jets had a young Sam Darnold at the time. It's like, why don't you want to? Maybe I'm wrong about the timing. Maybe they didn't have Darnold at the time, but I'm telling you, Jets fans wanted no part of that then. And it's like years later, he didn't live up to the hype in Dallas. Why do you want him now? And especially if you're still going to have to pay him a lot. That's kind of my thing.
I want him now. Michael.
Well, I get it, and I like the player too.
Michael Troiano, appreciate the super chat. I didn't see it before, but like I said, I'm just it's freaking flying right now, so I got to go through it the best I can. Always appreciate it. Who is your favorite dark horse pick at 4 or 4-4 for pick 4? 24 hours again. Reading hard. I apologize. A guy you think is awesome that is being slept on for that pick. I don't want to go out on a limb here, Kyle. I think people are starting to get up to that level now because they saw him run, and they're going to say we're saying this just because he ran, but we were saying it before he ran. Sauce Gardner at 4, the only other guy who I don't think it's 4.
But at this point, I don't think it's considered a dark horse at this point.
Okay, so
maybe a month ago it was.
Could we say this would be like a reach, but a dark horse pick? I could see people are saying he might go top 4, top 5 right now. Trayvon Walker.
That's the name I was thinking.
And people are going to think I'm freaking crazy for saying that, but back me up, Kyle. I said top 10 before this happened, or 10-ish, and now this happened. I'm not saying I want it. So don't misconstrue what I'm saying. Blewett wants him at 4. That's not what I'm saying. Could I see it happening? Yes. Would I be terribly mad? No. Right now, I'm really fighting with him and Karlaftis, the end 3A, 3B. I don't know who to put above the other. I don't. So I wouldn't.
The ceiling for Walker is really high.
Oh, absurdly high. But he needs to learn a lot as a pass rusher, like almost everything. So,
and some guys just never get it. So there is projection there. So there is risk.
Yeah, Joe. Me and Joe disagree sometimes, but sometimes me and him get along. I think we've been friendly recently. I don't know if Joe was so friendly to me in the beginning. Watson played a cupcake schedule and had 3.1 catches a game, I guess, in terms of Christian Watson. Again, if you had him as a 4th-round guy and you watched him, and now you have him as a 2nd-round guy, chill a little bit. Let's see what he's actually about. But a guy who can just run fast isn't necessarily just going to bring him into the 2nd round. So let's chill a little bit on him. I'm going to keep moving on. This is when the Seahawks fan entered the chat. Looked like. How could you not be sad as a Seahawks fan? So I appreciate Joe Nelson calling him out, always having Jets fans' backs. Pat's being interested in Robbie Anderson. Sure. I couldn't care any less. Andrew saying Burks is in the same stratosphere as DK athletically. No, it's not even close. And that's why, he's Debo. Tell me how he's Debo from his mindset, Kyle, because I will pull up plays right now of him ducking out of bounds. And that one play, Kyle, right? Left side of the screen, or they're running, I think it's to the boundary side.
Oh, God, that's such a horrible play.
Crack toss. He's supposed to crack the linebacker, the DN, the safety. I forget exactly who it was. He runs up to him, tucks his arms in, and does a pirouette to avoid the guy he's supposed to block because he didn't want to get involved in it. Or sees the quarterback scrambling and will avoid a blocker or a defender because he doesn't want to block him. Or he'll run out of bounds 2 yards early because he doesn't want to get tackled. So to me, and giving up on routes, I was not thrilled with the film. And on top of that, not a good route runner, not an experienced route runner, was schemed the ball open. He was just very, very overrated to me. He was. And people, again, 10, I would. That's what I said. Like my worst case scenario, would be like Neal at 4.
I'm not even interested with our second pick in the second round.
And stick to that because people think you're crazy. But why do people think you're crazy? Because they just listen to whoever they think is, with no evidence. The problem is a lot of these people don't put up film and they don't break it down and show evidence of what they're thinking. So now you're crazy because you're sticking to your opinion. Like I get what you're saying. I do. Could I think about it at 38, depending on what happens in free agency? Sure. But no, I'm not about Burks. That's not. Let's keep going. If people hate that, it is what it is. You're not listen. If you're not coming here for honesty, it is what it. That's your problem. I'm very, very honest. What's up, Verge? Big supporter always.
I love Verge.
So do I. I like dude. Strong community. 220 people here right now too. That's fucking awesome. So, Joe Nelson, I'd rather have Trayvon Walker over Jermaine Johnson. Kyle, we both agree.
Oh God, yes.
Richard Sherman.
Dude, I know this is like the third time I'm saying. That dude can be a fucking monster at the next level, man. And dude, you just put on his film. Like sometimes he looks like a man amongst boys while he's at Georgia. I mean, he needs to figure a lot of things out, but sometimes you just see that raw, brutish strength and athleticism just shine through poor technique sometimes and just move people, man.
Richard, I appreciate the compliment. Yeah, and Kyle, I don't know if you watched the last stream or not, but
no, I watched part of it and I commented.
And Harold was talking shit about you.
Yeah, Harold, he's like, Kyle gets me mad sometimes.
Yeah. No, I pulled up some Trayvon Walker plays, so if you're not familiar, go watch that. And if not, I'm gonna one of the other stream guys, I'll do it, not this one, but I'll pull up a couple of Walker plays, and you would see the guy is just physically imposing. Now, in terms of him on stunts as a pass rusher, is all going to be very good, very, very good as a stunter. Very good as a run defender, very powerful, very good leverage, very good at shutting blocks. He has a good bull rush long arm. He needs to work on his angles. He needs to work on a lot of pass rushing technique, but I really do think that guy's better. Like football, the better football is ahead of him. I'm pretty high on him. Before the combine, timestamps are there. The timestamps are there. Because you know how people will be like, yo, you didn't know who he was before the combine. Okay. Sorry, that's just
how many of your reviews have actually made it?
Only 3. We got to get them out faster. We got it. That just has to happen. I think Neal is next. So if you're a big Neal fan, watch that one. What's up, Sharman?
Are there any Jets fans that we know that are actually excited for Neal?
Not who watch this show. I really doubt it. Unless you come here to like hate watch me or you don't trust me at all, then that's the only way. MB, no. If anything, this mug, I don't need Google. My wife knows everything. Is more of a
that's for her.
It's not for her. It's more of like being a dick cup than me actually meaning that. I don't know what the words are right now. Again, it's been.
Well, you are an asshole, so makes sense.
As are you, Kyle. As are you. Jets gang. I know Jets gang is a big Carl off this guy. He has been for a little bit, so we are too. We're with you. I don't the most pro ready. It's Hutchinson to me, but I would argue I think he's second most pro ready. Would you say that too? More pro ready than him as a DN right now.
Okay, definitely more than Trayvon. Definitely more than definitely. Unless there's some other guy who I just don't know about now, but yeah.
Breaking news, Kyle. Which I was going to say before this. Maybe it's not going to happen now, but I feel like the Jets are going to. I had the feeling the Jets are going to trade for somebody tonight. I don't know what it is. They're going to trade for somebody.
Did they?
Cooks, Cooper. No, I don't know. They signed Will Parks, though. I don't know if you saw that. I was going to go over that in a little bit, but it's not big enough
Safety?
news to really talk about. Yeah, he started 2 games at the end of the year, right? Played okay.
Okay.
Richard Hickey. Can't wait for free agency to start, and neither can I. Monday, is it 12 or 8? Or 12 or 4 it starts?
I feel like for years it was
4.
I think I think it's 12. But I think like they can officially sign on the dotted line a couple days later at 4.
Yeah. Taps any button. If Drake London runs under 4 or 5, are you taking him? No.
I think there's several guys. Even at 10, there are several guys we like before then. Even if he is sub 4.5.
Again, like taps any button to bail myself out. What happens in the next 2 weeks? Do they add Robinson? Do they add Cooper? Do they add Cooks? If he runs under a 4.5 and they don't get a receiver in free agency, it's a conversation for me. Like I like London more than other people do. Again, people And people and they're just wrong. There's really not room for debate here, Kyle. To me, I'm just gonna be very honest. He's just a contested catch guy. He's just a yak guy. Like if you don't see the route running in him, you're not watching the right thing. He can run routes. Is he as laterally explosive as a Garrett Wilson and Olave? No, but I think he's much better than people think he is. Like I don't get where all the hate for Drake London comes from. I think they see guy who's 6'3", 6'4", who's gonna run slow and just think he's a contested catch guy. Like, oh, he's Mike Williams. That's all he is. Mike Williams just got a $20 million contract. We wouldn't be happy with Mike Williams. Like, what are we talking about?
Mike Williams doesn't he had a 1,000-yard season every year he's been in the league,
like
including with Jameis throwing him the ball and
Jameis.
Was Glennon even throwing him the ball at one point early in his career?
Are you talking about Mike Evans? You're talking about Mike Evans, my guy.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm saying was Glennon throwing Evans the ball early in Mike Evans' career?
You said Williams. I'm talking about Mike Williams.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Healthy Mike Williams is not a bad player to have.
I didn't see the Mike Williams details. You're telling me he got 20 million?
Yeah, 20 million. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you see that coming?
No, I thought he was only like 15, 16. So that's what's kind of concerning about the receiver market right now. Is like, hey, you want to trade a
and did the Chargers did that Khalil Mack trade actually go through?
Yeah, we were going to talk about that.
Yeah,
but
they're making their Super Bowl push.
And somebody said like he's old. I think Eagle said it, and I love Eagle, but he's 31 years old right now. Like Von Miller's 31, 32. Aaron Donald's 30. Like he's still a good pass rusher right now. And you pair him up with Bosa right now, dude. Like we
don't play them next year, do we?
I hope not. I don't think so. I know we play Seattle in Seattle, which I wasn't going to go to, but I might make my way to Seattle. I know I'm going to Green Bay, but I might have to
make your way to Seattle to watch Drew Lock. Okay, man.
No, to watch Jamal Adams lose to the Jets in his home stadium. That's what I'm going there for.
You're going just to see Jamal Adams.
1,000%.
And that's a far trip, man.
Yeah.
And Mike, thank you.
Make it short.
I'm glad to know I make you laugh.
Right, I don't even see that right.
He said
now.
Kyle makes me laugh, and I don't mean that in a bad way.
From Joe and Neil, it's okay to debate, argue. Everyone has a different point of view. Well, thank you for providing your takes on these players. I appreciate that, Ephraim, but there is no different point of view on Neil. He's just not good.
Evan Neal trying to run block.
Yeah, no, hold on. This is him trying to run block. duck his head bent to the waist, just shoot his arms from really low, and then just get tossed. Like that's all he does. Pass pro, I don't have a problem with him.
His high school coach, when they used to make you go under why am I forgetting what it's called right now? Where you gotta linemen go through these things, they duck their heads. You're not if your helmet dings the thing, your coach is my coach would get pissed at me. This guy, he must get his I don't know, he's got his head down, but it's so easy to like, okay, club arm over, just put you straight in the dirt,
Dude, it's just to me like there are certain traits I look for, and like I know again, people are all about like the traits, like run the underwear Olympics, all that stuff. Like guys taking plays off. When I see a guy like Burks taking plays off, when I see to me how soft Neal is, dude, he's like you can argue with me all day about his run blocking, which I really don't think there's much of an argument to argue. But with it being said, you cannot argue he's soft. He's a soft player. Like he really is.
How could and dude, you want to protect your franchise quarterback with a soft tackle? I mean, like this is the guy you're going to take first overall, and I get it. Pass pro, he's pretty solid. He's tall, comes from Alabama. I get all that, but
yeah,
soft guy, tone setter. You're talking. All right, the Jags franchise has been in the doldrums for so long. Okay, Trevor Lawrence is supposed to be the quarterback to try to change things around, but you still had a really shitty year last year. Obviously, you got the first overall pick again. You need to change the culture there. You're talking about changing the culture with taking a soft guy at one?
Yeah, and like there's the people out there who say he can play guard. Why? Because he played it 1 year in Bama, or he played a couple of snaps in Bama. I couldn't give two shits less. He cannot play guard in the NFL. There's no way he can take on a D tackle. He's just
that whoever thinks that, I mean, like you really don't know what you're talking about, and
just very, very wrong. Yeah. I don't care who it is. I couldn't care any less who it is.
What 6'7" guards are there in the NFL anyway?
I think that's the tallest a guard ever was in the NFL ever, and I'm sure he was a tough motherfucker. So Walker could, I just bait like, and he plays balls to the wall too. So that's It's good. And the thing with him is, like, people talk about his pass rushing. Oh, we didn't produce a lot of numbers. I wanted to see him lined up as like a 7 or like a wide 9 more, like on the edge instead of like a 5, because I want to see him be able to take advantage of that burst and that speed to power. But when you're tighter, you can't do it as well.
Man.
Dude,
so if he runs a 4.51, right? And what was his 10-yard split? Do you know?
I just deleted all the freaking numbers.
Okay.
It was good.
So whatever. Okay. So the problem with when you line up that far is, okay, that's a lot of ground you got to cover in a short period of time. You still got to get through someone, and quarterbacks getting the ball out so quick. But when you have that level of explosion, you can get there. And when you're that big and you have that much of a running head start, man, like he can just like, you want to talk about, we were just talking about Khalil Mack and his speed to power, man. And those long arms too, man. Like, okay, so you have long arms, you're building up a head of steam. You can make first contact because you have that long arm, dude. Like he could like really like just bully people back into the quarterback.
Yeah, when
he
you're
moves people.
When you're tighter like that, like you really have to rely on technique, that quickly, because you can't build up that speed to power. But if you put him as a 9 and you let him just bull rush guys, like, yeah, that's not all we're going to do in the NFL level. Like, you want to see some inside counters. You want to see some, maybe he actually can spin pretty well for his size. So you could see some spins. You could see chops and jumping swipes and ghost and whatever. Jets, the only thing I'll say to this, what about Deion Sanders? KT seems like Deion. Deion is one of the best corners of all time and earned all the shit talk he did. KT has to earn to be as confident as he is, let's say. That's just Frank, think, would you take Walker at 4? Not ideally. That's like absolute worst case scenario, like the best of the worst case scenarios for me. Right?
Let me try to see, like, you'd like Walker better at 4 than Evan Neal.
No shit.
I'm trying to think of some other player possibility. What about Sting? Like, would you prefer Walker over Stingley at 4?
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, the only, like,
you'd prefer Walker over any receiver, right? I mean, no receivers going at 4. Okay.
Yep, Hamilton. Yep. Like, the thing is with Walker, and it's a risky pick. If they're confident they can coach him up, but like, dude, if Gardner's not there for whatever reason, if Thibodeau, if it comes out that Thibodeau, the Jets aren't in love with him, they're going to pass on him. Okay, I trust the Jets staff. Let's just say they skip on him. They don't like that, red flags, that they don't want to take him. He falls. Hutchinson's gone. Gardner's gone. Let's say, I don't know, Icky, Karloff, one of them go at 3, or the Jets sign like James Daniels in free agency. Who else are you taking at 4 right there?
Okay, so you're saying Icky goes before, who else goes before? Hutchinson?
Icky, Hutchinson, and
Gardner?
Sauce Gardner. That's like the worst case scenario for me, literally.
Yeah, no, that I don't like that.
So who are you taking at 4? Even though I don't think that's going to happen, I don't think that's realistic, to be completely honest. But in that scenario, that's what I'm saying. This is the best of the worst case.
That would suck. Fuck.
It's him or it's him or Karlaftis right there for me at 4.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. Upon further review, let me watch more film of both those players. But yeah, probably one of those. Probably one of those pass rushers, though. I mean, I don't see who else I could justify there.
No, you can't. There's nobody else to me. I can't. Socrates, what's up, man? Or I don't know if it's a female. It could be. I don't think so. I don't know. I'm sorry.
I mean, Socrates, it's probably a male.
Without a top 10 wide receiver in the draft, why not take Thibodeau and Karlaftis? Because one of them's gonna ride the bench. You got
Carl Lawson.
You have Carl Lawson. You got JFM. You got Q. They have massive needs elsewhere. So I don't think they can double dip at edge. Takes us at 4, even if KT is there. Drew, I don't think right now. Dude, like right now, based on what the feelings I get from KT, I agree with you. If the Jets are comfortable with KT, take KT all day over Sauce. It's just sketchy. Like how can we evaluate something that we don't know what's going on behind the scenes? Like we hear the drips, and again, some of it's smokescreen season, but this is like pushing out gray, heavy black smoke. Like it's not just a little bit of steam. Like it is. There are some massive red flags there to me. It just. Can you avoid that? I don't know. It's sketchy. Blake Castaldo seems like Karlaftis or Walker at 10 makes sense with Sauce at 4. That's the best case scenario for me. Kyle, for you too?
Yeah. Well, for me, the best case scenario is
Realistic.
this is
best
just
case
me.
scenario.
This is just me. I don't think it's crazy to think that it's trade ups happen in the draft all the time. Okay. I don't think it's insane that if the Jets have a huge need edge, they've had a huge need there for a long time. I don't think it's crazy to think maybe Detroit could slide back to 4 and still get Malik Willis, right? And then the Jets move up to 2, get Aiden Hutchinson. To me, that's best case scenario. That's the guy I want. And if I have to flip a early second round pick to do it, I'm doing it.
What do you think about this comment from It's Snoopy? Kyle, Jets gang made a good point. Salah rotates the D line, so maybe he won't take plays off here. In terms of Thibodeau, what do you think about that?
I think some of it's just mentality, man.
Yeah, I think it's more mentality than actually being tired. Like losing, just like Burks. Like, hey, I'm not going to be targeted on this route. I'm gonna tap out on this play, kind of thing. So it's more the mentality thing than being whatever.
Hey, you got to look at Christopher Merkovich's comment.
I'm going.
I know you're behind,
down.
but huh?
I'm scrolling. I'm moving through. I'm at 650. So I'm
just
really
saying. He
behind.
said we should draft me at 4 and you at 10, so he thinks I'm the better player.
You at 4
and you at 10.
Yeah, if you're gonna value Kyle, would be where are you playing Kyle? Where are you playing me? That's the question. That is the question.
Yeah, where are you playing? Because you said you were the quote unquote Swiss Army knife.
When did I say I was a Swiss Army knife?
Well, you were a do it all. You said you were a do it all type guy. Like you played running back, you played some safety, you played some corner, right? I think you might have played some wide receiver, right? Am I getting this wrong?
Yeah. So wherever I'm like Cordell Patterson.
Okay. I like Cordell Patterson. I'm a fan of him.
Kyle is Ronald Blair, so I think you have the picks mixed up because he said he's Ronald Blair. So if you want to take Ronald Blair at 4. Karlaftis or Jermaine.
Okay, but you're a running back though, bro. Because Cordell, he's a running back. So.
He's a receiver too. He's a Swiss Army knife. Karlaftis or Jermaine Johnson. Kyle and I are both firmly in Karlaftis. With that,
yeah,
I could speak.
I mean, I'll say this: like,
I don't hate Jermaine Johnson. People talk about it at 4.
I'm probably gonna watch Jermaine. Like, I'll probably watch at least one more game of him because what I saw so far, and like. I don't know. Maybe my opinion will change. You watch another game, like, you could watch a stretch of games where a guy's hurt or whatever and just not love it for whatever reason. I'll probably watch at least one more of him. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. After what I saw, the 3-something games, it's going to be hard for me to say, okay, I kind of like this player now. But I'm definitely going to watch more of Karlaftis.
Yeah. Yeah. Moving on. I'm sorry if I'm skipping some of your stuff, guys. It's just we got a lot. One thing you didn't mention about Kayvon, the NY media specifically. Some on the Jets beat will try to tear him and his cockiness down every chance they get. Can he deal with that? Yeah, no, that's a really good point, TKO Steve, because like we mentioned the same thing with Calvin Ridley, which obviously he's not an option for the Jets anymore, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But you're going to most aggressive media market in the world. And for a guy who's uber confident and to me, borderline, if not, let's just be completely frank, cocky, can he handle, not getting a sack for a game or 2 or 3 or 4 and Rich Cimini poking him and Costello poking him and Hughes poking him. I'm not calling out any of those guys. I'm just saying in general, they're going to poke. Can he handle it? Some guys go into a shell. You don't really, you can't really tell. It's hard.
Yeah. I don't know, man. The cockiness, it can kind of work both ways. It seemed to work really well for Richard Sherman in his career.
If you can back it up.
Yeah. Yeah. When things start going bad, you look like an ass.
Anthony Coleman, yeah, go watch Karlaftis get manhandled by Ruckert. Yeah, I watched that, and that was 1 rep out of the 130 I've watched, Anthony. So I hope you watch the other 129 reps because I know you saw that on like a highlight film or whatever, the one play on Twitter. Like I hate that stuff. That's your opinion. The one play you watched. Okay, sorry.
I mean, everybody has bad plays, man. Like
I've seen Hutchinson get blocked by a tight end. I've seen Jermaine Johnson get blocked by a tight end. I've seen a lot of people get blocked by a tight end. It happens, especially if you catch a guy when he's not looking, you get him and you get that quarter turn, you get him in the chest plate. It's really hard to get off. So because we watched the one play of him, we're out. Like there's hundreds of more plays to watch. And Anthony, I'm not even trying to be a dick. I'm just saying I don't like those comments because most people don't watch all the other plays. So if you've watched 100+ plays of him, then tell me I'm wrong. But if that's the 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 plays you watch other than highlight films, then if that's the case, even though you're not going to admit to it, Do I respect that opinion as much? No, I can't. I don't like I don't like those comments. It's way too simple. It's way too baseline. We don't do that here. You know, that's what it is, right? Like I'm not trying to be an asshole. Lloyd seems to move better, and we definitely do. There are definitely people who like come and watch us like, nope, fuck that asshole. But it is what it is, because I'm gonna keep it real with the other 224 people or whoever else are gonna stay in here for that opinion. Lloyd seems to move better as a rusher upfield.
So what is he saying? Like he moves better, like attacking upfield, pursuing the quarterback than he does laterally, like, you know, like pursuing an outside zone run or
open field.
Yeah.
He's good. He has good bend. Like he has a legitimate bend for a linebacker. Like he's definitely flexible enough for it.
He's an interesting player for sure. Like, so,
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm not really comparing and saying that they're the same player, but, Hassan Reddick, he's kind of one of these interesting players who you can play in many different positions, who's going to be a free agent this year. So I'm not equating them necessarily, but, you know, Micah Parsons, that's a really steep comparison, especially when you consider the rookie year he had.
Yeah.
I know some people are doing that, but yeah, versatile in that sense.
He could play all over the field. Like, and again, not Michael Parsons, but you can use him in a similar way. Not saying he's going to produce like that. Jody, you mentioned, isn't it like Chanel? Is that how you spell it? Like Leo Chanel or whatever? Frederick, I could be wrong. Unless you're talking about a different guy. The linebacker. I've heard about him, but I'm only about like a round deep with guys right now. And like, I know the guys in the second, third round. Like I could talk about him like most other people could talk about him, but like in terms of like hours of film on him, I haven't watched him yet. Beth King is asking this to Snoopy, but we can answer it. This really says not Snoopy. I can hide it on my screen. Kyle, who do you want in the second round if we get Sauce and Karlaftis? Who's your pick at 35? Who are you hoping for right there?
I'd be lying to you if I said I know the second round guys really well yet. So
yeah.
I don't know that I have a good answer. So I'll defer to you, Blewett. And if you have a good answer, no, you don't. Okay.
No, okay. Right now, without free agency, Zion Johnson. You know, like I don't know.
Okay.
Zion Johnson and I don't know if I'm like I have to watch Trey McBride, but like there's always that one player gets too hyped up. Is he being too hyped up? Maybe. Him and like Lewis Kine or Sign or Brisker, like there's some of the safeties I'd like there too, but I don't want to go too defensive heavy because people will kill me. JB12 looking tired. Appreciate the effort, dude. This is the guy who said I look like Tom. I've gotten Sam Darnold and Tom Brady who look like completely different guys. I think this is the guy who called me Tom Brady, which is weird, but hey, I'll take it.
All right. So you kind of smile like Tom Brady, like, but you don't look like him, but
okay,
you kind of smile in a similar way that he does.
I feel weird. I don't know how to recover from that. Okay, let's just keep going. Karlaftis over Wilson or Olave every day of the week. Yes, 1,000%. Not only the positional value here, but he's a better DN than they are receivers. False? Not. It's not false.
Yeah, no, I think that's accurate.
It's not false. I cannot see that.
There's a lot of good receivers in the league, right? Like,
why is your light out?
Dude, I think it's something with, it's not my light. I think it's my camera getting focused in and out. I think that's what's happening. And I don't know why. I guess if I move off center. But the point is that there's a lot of like talented receivers in the league.
Yeah.
You can't point around the league and say there's a ton of great edge rushers.
No, you don't really find great edge rushers in the second, third, fourth round. And don't tag me with one or two guys because I get it. But typically you don't. Do Trayvon Walker make it a 10? No. Stingley scares me a lot. Yep. Us too. We talked about it last time we were on here again.
Hey, did you see Stingley, those practice reps against Chase?
Yeah. A little bit. I didn't like focus in on him, but I saw them in passing. Thanks, Joe. Mega Vegan. Value Joe's opinion more than most supposed experts on TV and online. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Imagine if this psychopath was doing this full time.
This is right now is on like, I think, what time is it? I've been up for like 25 hours. So
honest question, Joe.
Yeah.
If you were doing this full time, how many hours do you think you'd put in a week? Like, let's say you could make 6+ figures doing this a year.
At 40 to 50 plus, which means you get 5.
Easily you'd be doing
60. Well, right now I'm already with working full time with my outside engagements with my work, which you know about. I'm already putting 60 hours in a week of work. So that would all be to film. So now instead of getting 10 to 15 hours of work into this a week, you're getting 60. Yeah, that'd be a little bit different. That's for sure. stuff would be edited, stuff would be everything. But like that's the thing is like people put like a fancy edit on like a 7-minute
You shouldn't
video.
edit. That's not your thing. You shouldn't waste your
Dude,
time on it. Just
I know.
what is it? That Tim Ferriss book, The 4-Hour Work Week. You got to outsource shit. Just do it to somebody who's good at it.
It's like you have like the 7-minute highlight hype up videos. It's like this guy's great at this. Look at this route. Look at that route. And it's like 3 plays. It's like that. Is that really going to tell you about a player, or do we go balls deep for 2 hours and really get into it? Because it's pronounced scene. Thank you, Michael. Scene. Okay. I hope you're right because I'm going to keep saying that. Yeah. No. The highlight.
How many people are in here?
I'm
not even looking at the number.
217.
Wow.
Very strong number today. Now we're getting hyped up. It's our time as Jets fans. I think we're close to 6K too, subscribers. So hopefully it just keeps going up. So I appreciate everybody. I'm sorry I'm rolling past a lot of your guys' stuff, but I'm just trying to catch up so me and Kyle and I can get to some of the topics. I'm just trying to see. Joe Pekulik, what's up? Kyle, because a lot of Jets fans,
I saw that one. He's referencing when I brought up the fact that the Amari Cooper thing, why Jets fans had wanted no business of him years ago when he was like 25, 24, and now when he's 27, now they're willing to spend the big bucks on him.
Yeah. Simon, can you see him? Can I see it happening? Yes. Do I think it happens? No.
I mean, which team would it be if he went before?
Texans?
I don't think he goes before us. I could see us. I could see maybe the Giants.
I could see it happening. I don't think it happens. I think it's a different question. Do you think it happens? No. Can I see it? Sure. Like, would I be absolutely shocked if the Texans took him at where they're 3? I wouldn't be absolutely shocked, depending on who goes 1 and 2. You know. Okay. Sorry. He was a big supporter of me on Ryan's stream the other day. I don't know if this is the first time over here, but I spent 4 hours last night on Seahawks streams convincing them how we should trade DK to the Jets to punish it. That's great. Hey, we're going to talk about that in a little bit too with the DK stuff. Joe, who would be the first ideal free agent we sign? If we don't trade for a receiver, Amari Cooper, if he gets cut, I guess. Allen Robinson. I want offense for Zach Wilson. James Daniels. I like Marcus Williams and stuff like that, but I really want to hit. I said 1,000 times. I want to go into it again and get to the really kind of like deep into the woods with this. I want offense in free agency because I want to go into the draft with flexibility, especially a draft that is defensive top heavy. I don't want to go into the draft without a receiver, without a guard, and I have to reach for one. That's just it's easy as that. So give me offense and a safety. You can get a D tackle. Like we can get some stuff, but Hoof, what's happening, fellas? I'm listening.
I know that you're not jumping for joy over it, but Brandon Scherf.
He's injured all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's kind of my thinking.
I'm very out on that. Him, I'm talking like James Daniels, Connor Williams, Laken Tomlinson, like those guys, not him. Okay. Hoof hasn't been here in a while.
Very fair.
Hoof came to my tailgate. He sees that we get down a little bit. I had a good time with Hoof.
I wish I could have seen Hoof.
Hoof's a good guy. Moving through. Where are we at? I'm 20 minutes behind. Moving through. You guys lit up the chat. I'm like scrolling a ridiculous amount. Thoughts on reports McGovern is a cut candidate. In terms of the only reason I've heard him as a cut candidate is because they're looking to bring in Jensen.
According to who?
Yes, thank you, Kyle. According to who? They've been linked to Jensen. Do I want to cut a younger McGovern who's been here for a couple of years for a Jensen? I get that Jensen, even though his numbers aren't as good as McGovern, is he probably a little bit better of a player? Sure. Do I think it's much of a difference?
When you say numbers, what do you mean by that?
I think like
PFF numbers?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So I think Jensen's probably the better player just based on the eye test, but I don't think it's a large enough gap where you're gonna now make AVT play next to a new guy, and you're gonna make Zach Wilson be with a new guy. Like I get he has that mindset, but I'm not really buying it too much. It could happen. I'm not in love with it. To be honest.
Yeah. I saw that too, and I assume that a lot of Jets fans are happy about that. I know that Brandon Thorne, who I have a lot of respect for, likes Jensen a lot, and I see the tenacity, and he's a tough player, and he talks a lot of trash, and he seems to be a fun player. I know the Jets fans loved him and really wanted him to sign with the Jets when he left the Ravens in free agency, but I just don't know that because at this point, you don't got that much money guaranteed tied into McGovern still. But if you sign Jensen, you're gonna have to fork over some guaranteed money too. And is it really that big of an upgrade? Is it even an upgrade at all?
Yeah. Yeah, it might be like a wash, and like maybe he has a little bit more tenacity, and like that's what people love. But honest, I heard the Jensen stuff. I went and watched 2 of his mic'd ups on YouTube. He didn't seem like he was that aggressive of a dude on like the mic'd up. I'm not gonna lie. Like I thought he was gonna be like some bully, like it was gonna be fun to watch him. He's kind of like he would bang with guys. That sounds so fucked up, but like he would what I mean?
Dude,
like,
I wasn't even thinking that.
I know, but
you always bring my mind there.
It always happens. But he would clash with guys. And then he'd be like, "Yeah, football's fun." Like he wasn't like he wasn't as like crazily aggressive as I thought he would be, based on what people say.
Who's mic'd ups I like?
Yeah, good. With expedite a little bit, Kyle. Though.
Okay, forget about it. It's gone.
Okay. Thoughts on Ojaba? Raw.
Gotta watch him.
Not a fit for the Jets. I saw him a little bit in passing with Hutchinson. I just don't think he's a fit for the Jets based on I think he's a 3-4 outside linebacker. I don't think he's a
when I watched Hutch, I didn't really focus on him at all, so I don't know.
I'd pick Cooks over Robinson. I am with you there, to be honest.
Definitely.
I'm with him.
Yeah.
Just based on how productive he's been. Kyle makes me laugh. Michael, I don't know. Why does he make you laugh? What give us a little bit of because CMG is soft. All right, I guess. Joyner coming back. Oh, Joyner to the Jets on a 1-year deal, Kyle. How do you feel about that?
Not loving it. I did not like that. That was probably, I think if I'm on the record, I think that was my least favorite signing in the offseason. And he didn't really play last year.
Jared Davis. For the money? For the money.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like,
who has the number?
I saw the upside with Davis, though. When I watched Joyner, I was like, yeah, I'm not really seeing it.
With this.
But obviously Davis ended up being worse because when you factor in the money, sure.
With this being, 1, what's the number? 2, do I have more faith in Joyner versus Dashon Davis? Yes, I do. So, might he be the third safety? I hope he's not a starter. I don't think he's a starting level player. But as a third guy, and then you have Davis as your 4. Okay, that's fine. Do I want him starting? No, I don't. But it is what it is. Jet fans very much overrated him last year. There's a reason he got like $1.5 million. It just is what it is. No Hamilton. Yeah. Nope. Barks and Joyner wipes him out of the board. He can't take him now. I apologize, Kyle. I meant to say Joe and Kyle, but we're talking about Neil, and I typed. Oh. Yeah, I got you. I know what you're saying before Ephraim. Vom Red. What does that mean? Block user. That's some type of spam shit. Gotta block them. Where are the? I gotta promote some new mods because there's definitely people who are in here all the time. I know the guys like Mike and stuff like that can't be here all the time. But
make Verge Tibbs.
I think Verge is a mod, isn't he?
I know Mike is.
No, Mike is.
And I know Eagle usually is whenever he's in here, but I don't think he's in here today.
I'm putting out applications for 2 more mods. I need people who are in here all the time to watch the chat for me. Socrates, 100% right. You guys are going to catch up and see Joyner resign in 4 hours. We're 15 minutes late. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't like skipping all the chats, but I'm just trying to go through it. I am taking Kyle Hamilton. I am not. I am not.
Why? Why take him?
Yeah, it's because he's a unicorn, Kyle. His athletic numbers blew people out of the water, and he's the most technically sound guy. I've never seen him get beaten coverage or in the run game once.
Yeah, there's like zero truth to any of that, but okay.
It's watch the streams. I've showed it a lot on these.
Verge, not a mod, but he says he's down.
Dude, somebody good. Somebody said like on one of my chats, like a comment, and they said Larry Bird didn't have the best game every game. Is he not a Hall of Famer? I'm like, are we really fucking comparing Larry Bird to Kyle Hamilton now? Like, what are we doing here? Because in the 3 games that I watched, he should not have 5, 6, 7, 8 blown plays where he could have got beat for a touchdown or did. Like, come on.
Hey, you could make a Big A mod. That's one of my students who sometimes does things in class, like type notes or something.
Steven says, so you want to bring in a new center when we have a well above average center already with many holes? Yeah, I now the money will pretty much offset, but it's just you're changing for what reason? I don't love it either. Chris, I still want to know what position Kyle's playing. Would you feel more comfortable?
See, we've been talking about how defensive line, edge rusher is more valuable than some other positions. Joe, you're saying there's no way I'm taking receiver. There's no way I'm taking receiver. Joe, you probably
what if it's corner? You're taking Sauce at 4. You're taking Ronald Blair.
But Sauce is the only one even in consideration, though. We're not considering McDuffie. We're not considering Stingley. So come on, Joe.
Kyle, you think you're gonna be a Will backer?
No, I cannot play Will. I don't have the run and chase ability.
Chris, I would love to answer this question. I can't. I'm not telling you yet because I haven't watched enough to put my stamp on a guy. Okay, we're almost caught up, Kyle. We are almost caught up. No skill. Did you hear anyone else except Tibbs raise concerns with something they did said off the field between? Or hold on.
I think the person's asking.
Do you hear anyone else except Tibbs raise concerns with something they did said off the field or between drills in the combine?
Like, is there anyone else that because of their combine interviews raised red flags besides Tibbs?
No, I can't think of anybody else in interviews who, unless I'm mistaken, no, right? I know people are disappointed like Neil didn't test, but other than that, I can't really think of anything that like anybody hurt himself in that way.
Yeah, I mean, I got to be honest. Like, I was not following the combine super duper closely. Like, I mean, years past, I would just have it on NFL Network and just kind of like watch it, like I was almost like watching a game. But now it's just kind of like tune in and catch whatever I can catch and kind of look at the numbers whenever they're there. But I wasn't really watching super closely.
By the way, no skills. I appreciate the super chat. I didn't mean to blow past that. All the super chats obviously help me out, help the site out. Helps me eventually get a computer where I do these film shows and I do these live streams. I'm gonna be able to draw on the screen and show you and point to guys and circle guys and do all that stuff.
By the way, he's been saying that for like a year and a half now, at least.
I need more super chats. See Joe on the slot.
That might be the first time you've actually asked for a super chat. Usually you're kind of very humble with it. Like, we appreciate it, but you don't have to do it. That's like how you usually are.
Joking. Salas and Douglas are big character guys. Are they red flags on Thibodeau, borderline Adams, or just cockiness? Which Adams is a lot of cockiness. Adams was a super hater and a locker room destroyer. Yeah. And appreciate the super chat, $20, balling.
See, Jamal Adams didn't take plays off on the field.
No,
like, Jamal Adams, his time with the Jets, man, like, yeah, did he get beat every now and then in coverage? Sure. But like, the dude was, and I remember me and Blewett, like, we were talking about, hey, what's your top 5 Jamal Adams hits or whatever. Like the dude, he was a thunderbolt, man. He just jacked dudes up and stuff. Played with a lot of energy and stuff. Like, you watch Thibodeau and like, if you had to sum up his film, one word would be frustrating. Because it's like, man, you do see those wow plays sometimes, and then other times it's like, what are you doing, bro? Like, if I was one of his coaches, I'd be yelling and screaming at his ass all the time. Like, what are you doing? Right, because you see the potential there. And as like a teacher, like, I have some students who I see the potential, and it's like, how the fuck are you getting an F in gym?
Didn't show up. So the thing is, like, the quick difference for me, or between these two guys for me, is Adams was like A+ coming to the draft, like character, football guy, going to be the leader of your locker room. There's already questions about Thibs. What is it going to be like with him in 2-3 years? What is he going to be like if he struggles? Like they didn't have this problem with Adams coming into the draft. Big Ace had kicked Kyle. Then 2 questions or two things down. Kyle is the best, no cap. So one guy hates you, one guy loves you. Patrick Robinson, we appreciate you. Kick Kyle. Why Kyle? No. Walker at 10, cool. Hamilton at 4. I severely doubt.
Guys, just stop with the Walker talk. Seriously.
Walker, you're talking about Hamilton.
I mean, Hamilton.
Yeah.
Hamilton.
Don't feel like an asshole. Learn to understand the game. If you've never played at least a varsity college level, your Madden skills do not equate to real life. Oh, I guess you're talking about people who respond like that. Yeah. Appreciate that. I think I do. I appreciate that comment. Quick fun game. You're the Jets GM and you have to draft a player at 4 and 10. However, the player you have to pick has to play the same position or be on the same positional group. Who do you draft? Hold on.
Keep this one up here. I got to read this myself.
Dude, I've been up for like 26 hours.
You're the Jets general manager.
Read this slow.
You have to draft a player at 4 and 10. Okay, so I guess that means you can't trade out. I guess that's how I understood the first sentence. However, the player you have to pick has to play the same position or be in the same positional group. Who do you draft? Okay, so I think the person's saying like you at 4 and 10, you're gonna have to take 2 DNs or like 2 cornerbacks.
RJ, is that what you mean? Because I'm confused. At 4 and
think-
10, however, the player you pick has to play the same position or be in the same positional group. Oh,
So,
yeah,
like, you have
yeah.
2 corners or 2 DNs or
Oh,
like 2
okay.
linemen.
So we're taking Thibodeau,
2
I
edge
guess,
rushers. It have to be 2 edge rushers.
Thibodeau for the swing, and then we back him up with Walker or Karloff at 10, hopefully, right?
Yeah, that makes the most sense.
You know, that's
If we
I
understood
guess.
the question correctly.
Yeah, sorry if we didn't, RJ, but I appreciate the super chat regardless. So Zion, okay. Moving down. Oh, the Nets game started too, which I hope they beat the Sixers, but I don't think they will. Berrios never dropped a pass. You guys are undervaluing him. Yes, he does drop a pass. I've put it on film reviews. He drops passes. So that's just not. It's just not true. And his route. What does he do as a special as a route runner?
When you consider how many receptions he has over a season, compared like what's his drop percentage? You know, it's like I would say decently high.
Yeah. Like that play. Was it the Colts game where like? Or no, that wasn't the Colts game. There was a game I remember like Darnold was like scrambling out and found him in the end zone and just
that's the Rams game. Rams game.
Ball bounced off his chest and dropped it. It's like
2020 Rams game.
There's a route that I highlighted in a review this year where he runs into a defender and where he can easily undercut or take the route a couple of steps vertically and bend outside and he just runs right into him.
Denver.
Was it Denver? I don't. Yeah, it might have been
Denver.
Yeah,
he started to get more playing reps when Moore went out with the concussion in that game, so it could be
Harold.
that one.
It's your boy Harold, Kyle.
Oh, yeah, Harold. I heard what you said last week.
Big A, get some sleep. No, I don't sleep. Joe would sleep 7 hours a week. Yeah, hey, if this was but it's just this doesn't have a pension. There's just no way. Tony G will help me edit. Okay, Tony G, I'm gonna hit you up. Dude, I'm not kidding. Like I would pay somebody to edit for me. Like I can't do that shit. My God, I'm so hold on. Where was I just at? I lost my spot. Okay, no, I'm back. What time are we at? What time is it, Kyle?
It's 7:58.
Oh, we're catching up. I'm like 15 minutes behind. Do you think Berrios has reached his ceiling? I think he get a little bit better, but I don't. I don't think he's reached his ceiling. I don't think he's going to be a starting slot receiver for the Jets. I don't see it happening. What do you think are the deepest positions for round 2? Top of my head, receiver and safety, I would say.
Yeah, because it seems like Jameson Williams is going to go to round 2, Olave round 2. So
I don't know if CD is correct, but he's saying Cooper signed an extension, never hit free agency. So you might be wrong. I'm not sure. Again, I don't remember hearing about that. So
no, Cooper definitely hit free agency several years ago for sure. He resigned the first night of free agency, but he definitely hit the open market. I'm positive about that.
Kyle, what do you think about this? Cooper for a 4th or Lockett or Cooks for a 3rd?
Cooper for a 4th or Lockett or Cooks for a 3rd.
Cooper for a 4th. I think you get. I think
the contract though. Okay, so that's also a big deal.
Yeah.
So I'm more down for I think Lockett or Cooks.
Isn't Lockett like 29 though?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
It's a good question.
It's a really good question. I think Cooper for a 4th, to be honest. Like even I know the contract's going to be like another like $5 million, but I do think he's a better player than Cooks. If it was Cooper, yeah, I think if it was vice versa. If it was Cooper for a 3rd or Cooks for a 4th, I'm thinking Cooks for a 4th, but Cooper for that 4th over Cooks.
Yeah, the whole difference of a round in the draft pick is when you're talking that early in the draft is a pretty big difference. So,
conscious ego. I definitely want JC Jackson. Not going to lie, conscious, just based on what I've heard about him, like needing to be like a player who's motivated by the staff. I'm a little bit hesitant with JC Jackson with the money he's going to demand. Not going to lie. Just based on some of the stuff I heard.
There have been a lot of defensive backs that have gone elsewhere after Belichick and, not really.
Pirlo. Sorry, Carl, I'm just trying to fly. How do you do?
Well, I'll just shut up and I'll just let you just go through the chat. Just let me know when I can talk.
I'm not trying to be. It's 8:00 and we still have so many topics. How are you doing, Joe? On a plane to Florida. How are you chatting? Did you pay for Wi-Fi, Pirlo? Wild Wave. Ayo. He bangs with the guy. Yeah, that's my bad. That is my bad. I'm sorry. I'm skipping you guys. Medical benefits, so he does this full time. Medical benefit and pension is a big thing. I do it. I don't know what you're doing. You guys
He's probably referencing being a mod.
We don't want talent.
You
what does that
guys
mean?
Don't want talent.
I don't know. The thing is, I'm reading the chats from like minutes ago, and they could be.
They're probably referencing the fact that we're more comfortable with taking a player like Karl Loftus or someone who might have like a lower floor than someone like a Jermaine Johnson or something like that.
Iowan Jets fan. Iowan, I've seen you here sometimes. I don't think I've seen you here all the time though. So I don't know. Matthias is here a lot. There's a couple people. I'll figure that out. It's not a big deal. I can go through the chat. We just talked about this. That's a depth move. I could see him easily being cut. Chrono Kenny, Icky, Sauce, any edge in the first round. Our first 2 picks can make Bride a receiver. I don't hate that. It depends on what they do at guard and free agency, though, to be completely honest. Joe Kyle, what are your thoughts on trading up in the late first? Linderbaum slides past 20-ish.
No,
it's. I don't think so.
Especially it's guys. Center's not a need. I know people don't love McGovern, but center is not a need.
And Linderbaum cannot play guard. I don't care what anybody tells you. Cannot play guard. Do not listen to them.
Yeah.
Jan, always coming to the super chat. Special computer fund. I appreciate you, Jan.
Thanks,
you guys
Jan.
are going to look crazy when Hamilton becomes a destruction in the league. Yeah, maybe, but the film doesn't say that he's generational right now. And unless I could send you those plays. You can tell me why he didn't, why I'm wrong and why he didn't fuck up that play.
Justice. You can't tell me with a straight face that Sauce is not a much safer player than Hamilton, and that he's not at a more valuable position too. So,
Chrono Kenny,
how do you justify taking Hamilton at 4? How do you justify taking Hamilton at 4 over Sauce Gardner?
You can't. There's literally no way, unless again YouTube highlights. Listen to people who, again, frankly, some of them know what they're talking about. I think guys like Daniel Jeremiah do, but there are plenty of guys who have no idea what they're talking about, and it's very, very evident. A lot of people can dupe you with some film stuff, but if I'm sure there's people like Ben in here and like other people who watch the film, and then you watch their stuff, and you're like, dude, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. He just says shit. Trust me, it's out there. I'm never gonna say it maybe not to you guys in here, to Kyle. Okay. Let's see here. William, you're gonna regret. Okay, Richard Hickey just throws in I don't see a.
Thanks, Richard.
No, he says, Richard, what's your question here? So he sends us $10, and he says, got to figure out how to text super chat. So what is your question?
Well, anyway, we can say thank you.
Who needs a pension when you have super chats? If the super chats are going to equal like $100K a year, then yeah, sure. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Joe Pekuluk, Joe, give up my director of construction QC director to help you with edits. Let's go. All right. Power couple. The Joes. Joe squared. I like it. What time? 8:01. We're getting close.
You're waking up, by the way.
I'm waking up.
Yeah.
Doing this helps me stay up. Definitely. Okay, I am trying to. Okay, Kyle, we are through the chat. I'll highlight stuff now too, but we have to go through the rest of the stuff. Thibodeau, we talked about it. You had executives who were saying they were turned off, et cetera, et cetera. We hit that. Ridley being suspended for the year, betting $1,500 in Florida on the Falcons. Dumb move. Obviously, wasn't going to really be an option for the Jets. I don't think anyway, but obviously now he's completely off the market, right? So.
Yeah. Question. I feel like when I saw that news, I almost felt like this has to happen more often than this. Right? Don't you think? Players betting on NFL games. What is the rule? Like, you can't bet on your own team. You can't bet on any games. Like, because obviously players do fantasy football, and in a sense that's gambling. And
they do fantasy. I don't think they do fantasy football.
They don't.
I'm pretty sure they're not allowed to do fantasy football either.
Then maybe I'm just wrong about that, but
no.
I don't know, man. I feel like how often does this happen? And they gave him, sometimes a guy might have like a domestic violence charge and get a couple games, or DUI and get a couple games, and you bet on $1,500 worth, and you're suspended for a whole season. I don't know. To me, that seems a little harsh.
Yeah, that is sketchy to me.
It's not like he was throwing a game he was involved in or something.
It feels like because the NFL, that's the only disciplinary action they get for betting because it's not illegal. Like they want to come down really hard for the integrity of the game, because then you're gonna have people who are like, oh, he just dropped this pass. Oh, he freaking bet on this game and whatever. Like, I think they're really about their image, and they don't want people to ever think that they're betting on the game. So I think they take that very, very seriously. But I get it. Obviously, smacking a pregnant woman or kicking her, beating her up in an elevator is a lot more serious. But it is what it is. Not to laugh about it, but it's just crazy. What if the Texans pick Sauce Gardner? I will not be happy. I'm a Jets fan. Blewett needs to do a cut up of all of his player predictions that come true. Video titled "Eat a Dick Milk Hyper." There's some stuff I get wrong. Definitely, there's stuff I get wrong. There's some stuff I get right though too. Obviously, I answered your super chat. Any chance, or did I not? Any chance we Chrono Kenny? If I didn't, I apologize.
Chrono Kenny, I think you put it on the screen, but I don't think you actually answered it. But we actually did answer this earlier before you texted it.
Got you.
I think that we definitely can trade up.
Dude.
I mean, we have the ammo to do it, and I think that if you're the Detroit Lions sitting at 2, like, yeah, you could take Hutch, and he seems like he would be a Dan Campbell type of guy, but they also need a quarterback. I don't think they're going to be so content with Jared Goff. You could probably slide back 2 picks, get an extra second rounder, and possibly even more, and still get your quarterback of choosing. So
the thing is, like,
I definitely do think it's possible.
People are obsessed with draft picks, but if you can land a guy who, to me, is easily the best player in the draft for a second round pick, I do it. Like, I'm sorry. I know people, you can get this guy in the second and that guy in the second. Understand that those players are going to hit at like 30% rate at the very best. So if you could trade that pick, just like they traded up last year to get ABT, they traded a second round pick. The trade up to get ABT, is it worth it to trade up to get Hutchinson, who to me has a very, very, very high floor and a pretty damn high ceiling too? I'm down for it. I really am. So I think it's very possible. Frederick, thanks for the show. I love your honesty. 2 a.m. here. Have a good night from France. Oh, awesome. Some viewers from France. Did I say that right?
How popular is football in France? I mean, we hear a lot about the England, but France, Germany, okay, but France.
So after this week, who moved up? Who moved the most, either up or down in your rankings?
Probably Walker.
Walker moved up a lot. I think Sauce really affirmed himself.
Hamilton probably went down a little bit.
I think Watson did raise himself, not 2 rounds worthy. Raised himself. I think Hamilton hurt himself. We went over that whole thing before. Shout out. So I don't mean to like short you, but we just did a whole thing on that. We answered this too, Alex. Receiver, safety.
Trading up for Hutch is like really like my biggest desire, to what Chrono Kenny just said.
I got you, Mike. I got you. Okay, so moving on quickly, Kyle, because we still have to do the simulator, the offseason simulator.
Oh, yeah.
Mike Williams extended. We talked about that. $20 million, a lot of money. Another name off the market. I thought he was going to be back with the Chargers anyway, because why going to get rid of him? He's one of your young playmakers who obviously had a connection with
Herbert.
Herbert, thank you. Last year, I didn't see them getting rid of him. So, anything to comment quickly? No. Okay. The biggest news of the entire week: the Jets signed Connor McDermott.
I get it. He's a loyal locker room guy. I guess they see some type of versatility in him. Sometimes he can play right, sometimes left. He's not a good player.
I don't get it. He should not be one of your top 4 tackles. They re-signed Will Parks. They said that on the 2 depth guy at the very best. To me, Rodgers back with the Packers. We don't have to hit this a lot. We kind of expect him to be back with the Packers. I don't like the kind of stuff he does in the media. And then Wilson to the Broncos. That division is absolutely freaking stacked now. Yeah, you have the Broncos, who should be at the minimum a playoff team, if not a Super Bowl contender. You have the Chargers, who should be a playoff team, even though they always disappoint later in the season. You have why am I blanking on the other team now? The Chiefs, like the Raiders, who were 1 game away from the playoffs, or they made the playoffs. Yeah, the first game, right?
Raiders made it. They lost to the Bengals in the first round. It was a close game.
Wild trade. I think good for both sides, though. I don't really necessarily get the Seahawks betting on, Carroll instead of rebuilding around Wilson. Like, I think you kind of could, but odd. And then Wentz got traded to the Washington Commanders. Good luck with Wentz.
And apparently they tried also trading for Russ, and they also tried trading for Carr too, right? if I'm not mistaken.
I don't. Maybe.
Yeah, I heard that report.
Did we miss Chrono Kenny? No, we just got back to that, right? I didn't miss Chrono Kenny's again.
We definitely got it now.
Okay, I'm not crazy.
Sure.
Okay, just a little crazy. Okay, Joe, who have you missed on your draft profile, and who has surprised you next year? I could say that one of the bigger guys who I've missed on, who's becoming good now, is Rashawn Gary. I didn't like him a lot. I hated Cleveland Farrell. He didn't really work out, so that's good for me, I guess. Who has surprised? Okay, so that's Gary. Missed, who I really liked. Juwan Taylor, but he's been injured, right? I really like Juwan Taylor.
Juwan Taylor, who's he?
The tackle. The tackle was coming out of Florida a couple years ago.
Okay. No,
to be honest, though,
I don't think he's a bad player.
Yeah, to be honest, though, me now versus 3 years ago, I'm much more confident. But I'm still gonna miss. I'm definitely still gonna miss. Afram is a red zone threat. He is. He's never dropped the pass, right? So moving on.
Yeah, I saw that.
Let's just go through the tags real quick. Let's go through the tags real quick, Kyle. Njoku tagged.
I didn't get that. Didn't get it.
That's probably one of the most surprising ones. A guy who I thought was gonna get like $5, $6, $7 million got 10 from them, and they already have Hooper at like $12 million. They don't really use Njoku enough, but they don't really target him a lot. So probably the second tier target for me is gone in terms of tight ends. So it kind of sucks, but it's kind of confusing, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. There was another tag or two that was like, really?
Yeah.
Who else got tagged? List them real quick.
Godwin.
I know Schultz got tagged, right?
Schultz got tagged. I didn't think we were gonna land him anyway. Bates got tagged. Expected that. Godwin got tagged. That hurts. That hurt. I was hoping for Godwin. It really diminishes the receiver market. I'm sorry we're kind of breezing through this, guys. But it's just, you can see it's kind of difficult to manage a lot of topics sometimes. But yeah, Godwin getting tagged. He's my number one target in terms of like receivers, assuming he's going to be healthy. He got his money, is what it is. That means that Carlton Davis will shake free. So it is what it is. Gesicki got tagged. We didn't want Gesicki anyway. Devonta Adams got tagged.
I also thought that was surprising. Like, I don't get that. And what's interesting is did they so he got tagged as a tight end, but he kind of thinks he's a receiver. Mm-hmm. He even says that. So like, is he going to fight over whether or not he should be getting receiver money? Interesting.
Bates got tagged. I said that, right?
You did.
The other guys who got tagged, like those are the guys who affected us. Cam Robinson got tagged for the second year in a row, which I think he's getting paid like $20 million now.
Yeah, that's a little surprising too, because
he's not a $20 million a year player. But now, does that make you think that the Jags are now
need another tackle, right? Like, okay, on the one hand, you could tag him, and maybe hope he even gets better, and you can work out a long deal with him. But okay, he's still a tag. It's 1 year, so it's possible he might walk next year. So you still kind of need a tackle.
But do you think that
I wouldn't say that? Oh, they're definitely not taking a tackle at one now. But the fact that they did tag him at least makes it think that it's a little bit lesser of a possibility that they take a tackle now.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried now with them tagging him for $20 million and then the Lions cutting Trey Flowers. Now, do you think edge goes 1-2? Kind of shitty situation because now, okay, so now they say that, let's say there's edge 1-2. It's Thibodeau at 4, or even if it's not Thibodeau at 4. They're not comfortable with whoever's at 4, the third guy. Okay. Now you take Sauce. And now what if Trayvon Walker and Karlaftis go 5-8 or 6-9 or 6-7, whatever it is. And now you're left with the fifth edge rusher, who to me is Jermaine Johnson, who I would not love at 10. Now, do they miss out on an edge rusher? I really hope that's not the case. I hope they find a way to maybe tag and trade him for like a 3rd round pick. And they bring in like Teron Armstead, like they trade for him from the Saints. Maybe that's their plan, tag and trade.
Teron Armstead's going to get paid, man.
Yeah.
And I don't know, dude, like I'm not taking Jermaine Johnson at 10, right? Even if I'm in a bad scenario, I'd take a receiver over him at 10. I would be more comfortable, honestly, based on what I've seen, especially with London, even Wilson. But if I'm in that scenario at 10, I'm definitely going to try to trade back.
Yeah. So moving on, because I want to do I want to do two other things. Well, the draft prospects that we've watched, we're not going to talk about that now, Kyle, because there's no way we have time to hit the draft prospects that we have the misconceptions on or whatever, or that people might have misconceptions on. So let me just delete some stuff here. With the Wilson getting traded, the other thing I want to hit on, DK Metcalf, looking to trade him, maybe 10th overall pick. People say second and a fourth, both the seconds. What's your feeling for that? Would you rather have him, or would you rather have Lockett, maybe 29 years old, for a third or fourth round pick? Like, what's your feeling on that? The potential of it. A lot of people. I'm
definitely willing. All right, so DK is a priority for me over Lockett. You're talking about a 5-year difference, right?
Yeah,
he's a very different player. All right. We were 2 weeks ago, we were saying how many guys in the whole league kind of have a skill set like him, right? Not many, if at all. So second and a 4, yeah, I'm doing that. No questions. No questions about
number
it.
10 overall, you're doing.
I mean, I said 2 weeks, I said 10 overall, I would do it. And
now the thing is that people,
listen, I don't love that, but I still would do it though.
Oh, let's go. 33-23 Nets. Let's go. Thank you, Billy. Thank you, Afram. I appreciate the updates. Yeah. So the thing is that, like, people have to realize what this is like. Oh, well, we could just draft the receiver at 10. Okay. So a couple things to consider with that. What is the chance that receiver is going to be anywhere close to Metcalf? It's very slim. Let's be completely honest.
Very slim.
It's very slim just based on numbers. Even if you love a guy, everybody loves a guy every year, and then they don't work out. So it can happen. And then people are like, oh, well, you're going to pay him $20 million. Okay, but you're paying a first round pick, what, $7-8 million a year? Am I wrong? It's less than that? No, it's less than that, right? So maybe like 6 or 7 for a first round pick at 10,
something like that.
Okay, so let's just say 6. Let's just say $6 million. So the $14 million difference, you're taking that risk for because you don't want to pay him. Like, dude, for a guy who, I think we went through our receivers a couple weeks ago, and we said Metcalf is probably like our 9th, 10th, 11-ish receiver in the NFL, 25
and
years
I think
old.
You have to also understand the concern for some Jets fans too is, okay, well, he also might not work out here because of, maybe it was just Russ and Russ's deep ball. Russ has a good deep ball and scheme difference. Like, some Jets fans probably have some of a pause because of that reason too. But again, there's a much bigger projection with going to a whole new scene from a college player to the NFL versus an NFL player moving to a different team. So I wouldn't be so concerned with that. And yeah, the money, that big difference of money shouldn't be such a huge concern.
Like, is
giving up 10th overall is never fun. And I get it. Like, okay, the Bills, Stephon Diggs trade worked out so good, but it ended up being a late first round pick. So the difference between 10 versus a late first round pick is a significant difference.
The difference of Metcalf when he's getting traded for at the time is a much better play than Diggs was at the time of the trade. Not now, but Diggs was a number 2 with the Vikings. He wasn't a big number 1 like he is now. He was not top 10. So he
was really good. I mean, it was like 1A, 1B over there between him and Thielen, if we're being honest.
So people are willing to take the risk for $14 million. That Drake London, Wilson, or Burks is going to be just as good as DK Metcalf. It's not worth a $14 million risk for me. Pay the $14 million. He's a top 10-ish receiver who's going to help out your quarterback. I'm cool with doing it. Like, that's people's big thing. Like, oh, just draft one because he's cheap. Is $14 million really not worth the risk? Or is it worth that risk? Not to me. Get him. I'm cool with it. Is what it is. Like, people get attached to draft picks, but if you're telling me right now we trade Jamal Adams, it turns into AVT and DK Metcalf, like, okay.
I think, and I really don't think the potential availability of DK really has to do with like character concerns or something along the lines of that. I think it just mostly has to do with salary and the fact that they're in full rebuild now. You just got rid of Russ, which is the best thing that ever happened to that franchise, period. He is the best thing that ever happened to that franchise. You got rid of him. They're in full rebuild right now. So I think that's the only reason why DK is really available, potentially. So it's kind of a rare kind of situation that someone that age is and that kind of freakish skill set is available.
Turkleton says, I think there's no chance the Seahawks make another trade with the Jets after Adams. Yeah, probably.
Dude, but they already do. We kind of the Sheldon Richardson trade too. I mean, like, that was another win for the Jets. So
Pedro, I'm more down for Icky at 4, Burks at 10. Absolutely no way. Absolutely no way.
He must not have been watching the stream before.
Mike, if they can trade or turn 4, 10, and 35 into Hutch, DK, dude, like seriously.
Yeah. Oh,
Like
yeah.
people get attached to picks, but if you could tell me, right now, 4, 10, and 35, because I'm assuming right now that he's saying you trade 4 and 35 to get up to 2.
Hutch is going to be a top
Hutchinson.
10 edge rusher in this league for many years to come.
I'm pretty confident saying that as well. And then you trade 4 and 35 to get up to 2 for Hutchinson, and then 10 for DK. Again, don't get too attached to picks. I would do that all day. All day, I would do that, Mike. I love that comment. Love it.
Like, so we've been talking about best case scenario. Like, what is a better case scenario than that? Like, I was saying for me, it's trading up for Hutch, and then we were talking about some of the guys that I can get at 10. I've been on the record for weeks now saying DK for 10. I don't love it, but I'm doing it.
DK and a second for next year's Jets first. That's not enough. The only thing I could see is like, okay, the Seahawks trending up from 9 to 4. Like the Jets gave up their 4th pick for the Seahawks 9th pick, and they give them 35. Like I could see that happening. So you're basically, that's a value of like 2 second-round picks. Donald, what scenario would you take a receiver at 10 for agency? Might be slim. If they don't get a receiver at 10, if Karlaftis isn't there, if Walker's not there, if Sauce isn't there, depending on how 4 goes, then I could see London, but I wouldn't prefer it. So we won't have to give up a second to get a 10 to get DK, a second late round, and a conditional 3rd second potential. Okay, if that's the case, sure. But I think there's gonna be bidding for a guy who's top 10 receiver in the league. So obviously they'll test it out. But we're just saying we'd be willing to give 10. Would I prefer it to be 2nd and 4th? Yeah, sure. So moving on. Kyle. Okay. Okay. So should I be super petty and pull up that GVR video? Because I did find where it is.
Yeah. This won't be the first time that you've pulled. Well, you definitely pulled up the play several times before, and you've kind of explained it, but you can pull up the audio too if that works.
Yeah, I found it because this is just me being petty, which is fine. Let me see here. This is
I'm curious to know who said this about you regarding this player.
I'll tell you.
You can maybe tell me off air.
I'll tell you off air. Yeah, it's fine. I don't really care that much. You know, the only thing I hate is that, like, people put words in my mouth. Like the whole thing, like with OBJ. Like again, movement skills versus comparing him straight up to OBJ, completely different thing. Saying, "Oh, Joe said GVR is average." You know, you be the judge.
When you were referring, so clarification, when you were talking about movement skills, you were kind of mostly referencing his ability to contort his body in air,
and like the power of his lower body on cuts
balls and stuff, right? Like you weren't more so talking about the way he releases on his routes and his speed and stems and the things like that. That's not you.
No, that's entirely different. I'm talking about like his explosion, his lateral movement, his contortion in the air type deal. Like how explosive his lower body is, how he's contorting himself. That's completely different than talking about him. He's the same player as Odell. I'm just talking about Odell Beckham like movement skills. Very different than comparing him to Odell, right? Like, so I just want to clear that up. Right? Or am I crazy?
I only heard you say movement skills. Listen, I saw. So you didn't put that review out to the public yet, right?
No.
Okay. So I watched it in its entirety, and I listen to you a lot, so I know things that you say, and I know ways that you word things and stuff. You were very careful to make that clarification. I'm not comparing. I'm not making a direct comparison. I'm talking about movement skills. I remember that very vividly.
But that's when I see that, and then I see the like, oh, GVR is average, and I just don't want people to like put stuff out there like that I said, because then obviously, hopefully, people just don't take it for like, oh, Joe actually said that, and then I believe that person because I hope you watch enough to know my opinions on guys. But this is me a couple months ago talking about GVR. I'm doing this really just to be petty, but
we're on a strong duo. It just to me, strong duo is just a duo with a kick out or a lead from a fullback. Strong duo. What happens? What does GVR want to do? It's 4th and 1. The run's going away from you. What do you want to do, GVR? You want to be super careful that nobody crosses your face. The run's going away. If you took a 300-pound guy who had no idea what he was doing, and that guy just took 2 steps forward and turned his hips to this guy with no hands, if I had a 300-pound guy amputee with 2 fake legs and no arms, he could do a better job than this. Why is he getting flat? The run's going away. Climb, get in front of him, so he can't strip over the top of you. That's all you need to do. If you were to throw your body in front of him with no arms, you're fine. The understanding of the run play here is just so stupid. He's just so dumb. Climb, work to him. But no, what does he do? Gets flat. Crosses his face. The only thing you cannot have happen, he let it happen.
4th and 1.
Now, the line of gain is like a 3.
I think I don't know how much more I go into it, but
Yeah, that's fine.
I proved my point.
And so this was obviously put out the week after that game, so there is a timestamp on it too. But yeah,
well, that's what I'm saying. Like, but then again, you have people out there like, oh, he said he's average. In what world did I just compare a guy
no,
who said he's a double amputee?
You were really harsh to him all year, man. You were really harsh to him all year.
So
and
again, just don't believe
if
what
anyone
people say.
I'm assuming you put a decent amount of stuff. I don't see all your tweets or whatever. I'm not on Twitter as often as I used to be. But you were very harsh on him on Twitter, and there's a bunch of different times when over the weeks, we were doing a stream every other week this past year. You were definitely, just think about if you just go back and think about some of the episodes that we did after they signed Duvernay Tardif. Like, you were just praising how, like, you weren't saying that he was good by any stretch, but you were saying he's immensely better or a significant upgrade over GVR.
All right, Kyle. I know it's late, and I know it's 8:30. I know it's late, but guess what? We have to do a Jets offseason right now, my friend.
Yeah. Yes.
So let's pull up some screens right here. So the reason we're doing this, and I did a mock draft last week with you guys because you guys, I think Joe Nelson, or maybe it was another Joe, was giving me shit for not doing a mock draft. So I did one last week with you guys, and we hit like an A+. Like, Kyle, that mock draft, I don't know if you watched it, but if the draft fell that way, I would shit my pants. Literally shit my pants. Like,
did you post a screenshot?
No, I don't, because I don't really care that much. But yeah, GVR is terrible. That's what I'm saying, guys. Like, the only reason I pulled that up is because people in other chats will say, "Oh, he said this." I didn't say that. So I'm not a fan.
He's on the downswing too. Like, he definitely had a worse season last year than the year before with the Jets, and he was better in Carolina as well.
I'm not a fan of letting combine affect draft. However, clearly UGA guys were more specifically Treylon Walker tape was affected by how much talent was in the D. I don't agree with that, Chris. We went over that a lot before. He's raw in certain aspects, but it's not. He didn't thrive off the guys because they were in the huddle. So okay, that draft was crazy. Yeah, Joe, it was. I think he was the one who pressured me into it. But we got Walker in the second round. We got a bunch of crazy stuff happened that one. So it was not realistic at all, but it was fun. So let's do a season or a thing real quick, Kyle. Entire screen share. I'm not gonna be able to see you guys for a little bit. So, okay, let's go. JetX website, nice and late. I don't know if I've ever done this from a computer though. How do I get to the? I don't know how to get to the simulator from here.
Just do this. Go to Google.
Hold on. Did I just do that?
Or if you know somebody who's got a tweet about it, you can just search on Twitter.
I do that on my phone. I just don't do it on my.
Okay, so get the link from your phone and just like email it to yourself.
Oh, it's such a pain in the ass.
Okay, while he does that, do you want me to talk while you do that?
No, yeah, go ahead. Just give me.
All right, so let me look at the chat. All right, let's see.
Should have had queued up, right?
Last 2 games we had no O-line and no receivers and only half the defense. Trade down and get depth. Football's an injury attrition sport. We need depth. Well, I definitely agree with that, Mike. And that's why, the really good teams always build through the draft. They always get lots of draft picks. They always get lots of compensation picks, right? They're willing to let guys walk in free agency because if you're signing big ticket free agents, okay, that's one player who's tying up a lot of cap. So I generally agree with that, but doesn't mean you can't sign someone like DK. Okay, someone put the link in the chat. Mike did. Thank you, Mike.
Savage. But I can't click it.
Can't click it?
I can't
You can
click
copy
that.
and paste it, right?
I can't copy and paste. How do you copy and paste the chat?
I can click it. What are you talking about?
Jet X Factors. Oh my god. Hold on. Just keep talking. Just do the chat. Totally missed Jeff's super chat. Where's Jeff's super chat?
All right. So, Kyle, who are some of your favorite players of all time and right now? All time? Is he talking about all time Jets? Or are you talking about all time football players in the NFL? GVR got pancaked on Zach's first touchdown throw, and because of that, Beckham got hurt, cut down. Yeah, GVR is responsible for that.
That is true.
Daniel Jeremiah said on his pod that sources in the league told him Hawks are going to get Deshaun Watson.
I've heard that too, actually.
Interesting move. I mean, like, you're the Seahawks. Why do you want to make that move? Get rid of Russ? I mean, like, unless Russ really wanted out.
If you're starting a rebuild, which, by the way, New York Jeff, I apologize for missing this. I was just trying to find I was doing the GVR thing. I was doing the sim thing. So, New York Jet, the New York Jet Jeff. That was not it. As Jets fans, we want every player. Let's all be honest and follow what Joe and Salah say. We are only taking either O-line edge at 410.
What does he mean by that? Follow what Joe and Salah say? Is that like that's an appeal to authority argument? Like
trenches thing. Like I get him thinking trenches, but I'm also going to say this, Joe. If there are, let's say they take Icky for whatever reason, okay, at 4 because they don't get a guard and they want Icky, fine, cool. Now Thibodeau, Hutchinson are gone at 1 and 2, 1 and 3, whatever. And now Trayvon Walker and Karlaftis go 5 and 7. Are they just going to reach for an edge at the fifth best edge rusher at 10? Now, what if Sauce falls there? Like there's, I think premium positions, I don't think linebacker safety, but I think you could throw a corner into there, to be completely honest. So,
yeah.
I appreciate the super chat though, but I don't necessarily disagree. It has to be O-line, D-line. I think that's what they want, but
New York Jeff about missing the super chats. Hey, I try to tell him that you should Joe, you need to prioritize the super chats more. Sometimes he doesn't listen to me though.
This is a question for you while I'm pulling this up, even though I have it up.
See, again, there's another example of him not listening to me because I just referenced this before. Now I get it. He's multitasking. It's difficult. I did clarify. I said, Joe, who are you talking about? You talking about Jets players? You talking about players in the NFL?
Oh, well, when you say Joe, I think you're talking to me, and I just wasn't listening to you because, See my screen?
Oh, and then he said, oh, man, I have to really think about that. I liked Larry Fitzgerald a lot for a really long time. I liked him coming out of Pittsburgh. So he's obviously not a Jet. Curtis Martin, Jet. I mean, dude, I love Darrelle Revis so much. The way things kind of ended with the Jets really irked me. And I get he was probably hurting and stuff too, but his lack of effort his last year with the Jets, that was disgusting. I mean, you guys remember Terrell Pryor undressing Darrelle Revis in Cleveland? Man, that was disgusting.
I really like Randy Moss. Even though he's like a diva in some spots, just maybe because I was a kid, I really like Terrell Owens.
Dude, T.O. was funny as shit, man.
Yeah.
He was a great player.
Brian Dawkins is my favorite player of all time. Doesn't matter Jet or not. All time, it's Brian Dawkins. Champ Bailey. There's a lot of guys out there. But can you see my screen?
I really like Aaron Donald too. I mean, like, okay. Yeah. Just because I've never seen a guy that dominant before. I can see your screen, yes.
Yeah, Revis too. Yeah, you can't. The guy was an absolute savage. So, William Jones, if we miss on Sauce, who do you have as a target, QB target or cornerback target in this draft? The only other guy I can see at 10 would be McDuffie. But I'm not in love with that at 10, but I could see it at 10. So let's just start this real quick.
Yeah, I don't love McDuffie at 10 either. Ricky Williams is another one because I'm a University of Texas fan, as you might be able to see. Heisman Trophy winner.
Mm-hmm.
And he was actually good in the NFL, although eventually he played for the Dolphins and had his best years with the Dolphins, who I hate. So,
okay, Kyle. So this is our it's not a prediction because we get denied. The last time we did this, the simulator absolutely destroyed us. That nobody signed with us. This was last year. Hopefully, get a little bit more lucky this one. We're gonna expedite it a little bit quicker than we usually do because we only have another 30, 45 minutes max. Horns up.
I am
Kyle.
definitely doing this trade, Joe. There is no question.
We're not trading Q.
What are you talking about? I said I'm doing it.
You're really doing that?
A first and a second for Quinnen? What are you talking about?
A late first?
Oh, wait. So we're getting. Oh, I'm still doing it. I'm getting a second as well.
It's basically a second and a third.
The Cowboys, they lost in the first round. What are you talking about?
So like 23.
Okay. We're not talking 32. I'm doing it.
Okay.
But but again, though, there's something we always go back and forth on, Joe. Joe, okay. It's your channel. It's your website. You do.
Let's just see what else they have. Let's just see what else they have.
Okay.
Let's just see what else they have. Corey Davis for a 4. No. Corey Davis for a late or like 20th overall in the 3rd for a year. Like a lot of these trades, like you actually might do it depending on what happens in free agency, but I'm not just going to get rid of them now for a 3rd. Yeah. I might think about it, to be honest.
Yeah. But
first for 2nd and 3rd. No.
This is interesting. A 2 and a 3. That's interesting.
Yeah. No. Fant for a 3rd.
No.
Fant for a 3rd and a 5th. No. George Fant for a 3rd and a 4th. No. Harold is a big trade fan guy. I'm not trading Fant right now because I don't know who else I'm getting. No. Becton for a 1st. And no. Our early 2nd. Becton for a 20. No. Becton for what's the Raiders pick?
It's in the 20s probably or the late teens because they were in the playoffs.
In the playoffs, yeah. So like it's at least 18, 19, 20, right? So
I'm not giving up on Becton that easily. So
yeah,
I don't know, man. You saw what he did year 1, and it's like, okay, I know why we drafted him 11. I'm not just gonna give up on that because he was mostly injured last year.
Drew Ferraro, love the concept of JetX similar, but it definitely needs work. Can't cut more than 6 players. Can't trade future picks and draft. Yeah, it's from last year to this year, it got a massive improvement, but we'll continue to work on it.
This is really cool. This is really cool, though.
Yeah,
it really is. Like, yeah, it needs work, but it's cool.
Would you do Mims for a 6 and a 7? Or are we just gonna keep him and just hope that he?
I almost feel like I want to keep him.
Mims for move up from a early 4th to an early 3rd, whole round up.
I think I'd do that.
You think you do this? Okay, we're not getting that's obviously outdated now.
Okay.
You think would you do this? It's like 30 picks up.
Yeah, I think I'd do that.
What does the chat say? I'll take some. I'm not gonna just base it solely on the chat, but I do want some people's opinions in the chat on this because the last time we did a mock draft together, I took your opinion a lot and we killed it. So I want to hear a little bit. Do we have any faith in Mims?
Would you do this?
Would I do this? I would. I think this is a value of like a 4th round pick. Like you trade 2 4ths to get a higher 3rd, to be completely honest. So let's just take it.
Okay.
Accept. Want to make another trade? Sure. This is the one we're talking about.
I would do this, but you don't want to.
If I want to hear from the chat, if the 3 yeses versus 3 nos, that's what I want. If you trade Q for a 1st and a 2nd round pick, I'm taking. This is not me. This is from you guys because me and Kyle are split, and you guys are the difference makers. When me and Kyle agree, we will just take who we want. When we don't agree, we will pick on your guys' opinions. Get rid of Mims. So we said yes. We have no. We have do it. We have dude. People are gonna hate us, but I said 3 or 3. Socrates, yes. West Coast Jets, yes, and Adam, yes. Q Spears, dude. It's gonna be so split. People are literally gonna hate this either way now, Kyle. No matter what we do here, people are gonna hate us. What do you think?
Let's do a coin flip.
Do you have a coin?
Just go Google coin flip.
I got it.
Coin flip. All right. If it's heads, you make the trade.
Heads, you make the trade? Is this it?
You just
okay.
That works.
This is what it's coming to, people. So heads for trade.
Yeah, we'll flip it.
Okay. Oh my God. All right. You guys saw it was literally a coin flip. It was literally a coin flip. Do not get mad. Hold on. Is it this one or that one? No, it's the Cowboys, right? I'm sorry, guys. This is Richard Hickey is mad at us. You saw it. Okay. We just traded away Quinnen Williams versus the second round pick. I don't think this is realistic.
I don't think it's realistic either.
I don't think it's realistic, to be honest. Rich, don't spam, but no, I get it. I really don't think it's gonna happen. Harold says we had more no's, but the first 3 were yes, so they were quicker. Best 2 out of 3, somebody said. It is what it is. All right, we're getting a little bit wild with this one. No, I think that's only trades we're doing. So at this point, we don't have a lot of cap space. No, okay, so let's go quick down. Crowder 5.5.
No.
Tardif 6. That's a little high for me for Tardif.
Yeah, no.
No,
Not for
Mike,
that.
not realistic at all, in my opinion. Mine neither, Mike. To be completely honest, I guess we're just getting a little wild with this one. It is what it is. This is not what we think they're going to do, because I really don't think they're going to. Take off the comment. My bad. Where is hide current comment? That's my fault. Good call, Joe Nelson. Keelan Cole, no. Morgan Moses.
For that, I would do it.
How does this look on your screen? Okay, you guys can do it.
Oh, it looks fine on my screen.
Okay.
For Morgan Moses, I'm signing him for that.
As a backup tackle, 5.5.
Yeah. It was really valuable last year, wasn't it? There's the uncertainty with Becton, right?
All right, I'm cool. Oh yeah, you're right. True. Harold, I counted it. The three yeses were first. Somebody said they would do it, and then there's 2 other yeses. Somebody didn't say yes exactly.
Yeah, you re-signed Flacco for 3.5. No brainer.
Oh my God. Yeah, we're already running out of money though. LaMarcus Joyner. It's not going to be $3 million though.
No.
He's already re-signed.
Okay, I know, but don't we have the option at this point though?
Fine, I guess. Tyler Croft, $2 million. I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. McDermott.
No.
Adios. Benny Curry. Nope.
No.
Kevin Coleman 1.1. Yeah, agree.
Yeah.
Cool. Niesman. No. Shepard. We just lost Q. We need some interior defensive linemen.
No. He flashed at times, but no.
Mike White 2.2.
Not interested. Got Joe Flacco.
Okay. Jeff Smith for 7.8 or 0.78.
No.
Sean Phillips for 2. That's a little bit expensive for a special teams guy.
Isn't he okay on special teams? But
yeah, but $2 million for a special teams guy is a little expensive. Isaiah Williams 3. No. Idri $2 million a year for 2 years.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
I don't know.
Want to skip it?
Yeah, I'll skip it for now.
Well, you can't really go back to it. Tim Ward, no. Foley, we don't have Q now.
Good point,
dude. We fucked up. We have to address that hole now. We should. Oh my God, I would say we should.
So you want to sign Shepard? We could sign Shepard if you want.
I almost want to restart. I can't believe we just got rid of Q. I don't like that at all.
Believe it. But I still say no to Foley though, just because of what Salah wants to do.
Barrios for 6 is that our limit?
No, that was over our line in the sand. We can't do it.
Kyle Phillips for 1. I'm doing it.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Address the tackle in the draft. Yeah, we're going to. I guess Harold, we have to now. This is our.
We got a lot of picks now, Joe. We got
3 first-round picks, 3 second-round picks.
Yeah.
Mike. Okay, so the only one we questioned. Okay, so we're fine. Clear space. I'm gonna go through this quickly because I've done this before. Ty Johnson, almost $1 million. Goodbye.
Yep.
Brian Griffin, 3.2. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Greg Van Roden, 3.5. Goodbye.
Sayonara.
Sheldon Rankins, 5.5.
Peace.
Cool. Agreed. Last one. Goodbye. Break Glassman. I'm not even questioning
that name.
No, I think somebody definitely tagged me in that. Did I miss somebody? Oh, Parker Ferguson's on. I have to do another random dude. Parker Ferguson for 8, whatever.
I don't know who that is.
Exactly. Joe Nelson, Jordan Davis. True. Hey, we could sign Hassan Reddick. The only problem is we have $55 million. The cap just went up though. So let's say our limit should be like 12. Because it just went up a little bit, right? So it's not going to be true 20. Like we have a little bit more money, right?
I don't know how much it went up.
Let's just say it went up a little bit, right? But I think we had that expectation in here. I just forget exactly, but let's just be safe. Like 12 to 15 will leave because then they can move around contracts, whatever, to sign the free agents. Is that cool?
Sounds good.
Okay. Okay.
And we do have a lot of draft picks, so we definitely do need, and we have early first-round picks and early second-round picks. So yeah, we do
definitely need wild now. This draft is so.
Yeah.
Opening day free agency. Do we still go in and look for a receiver?
Absolutely.
That's a day one. So, oh yeah, we had Cooper trades in there too, but the Cooper trades are crazy in the same. They're like us 2 and a 4. We're not doing that. Yeah. Robinson for 10. It's obviously I think it's gonna be $5 million higher than this, but it is what it is. We have to adjust that.
We'll say no to Godwin since it's not even possible.
It's not impossible. So if Godwin's not here, would Robinson be the first guy? Because obviously we don't have Cooks as an option now. Ridley's not an option now. He's really like the only number 1 out here.
Can you scroll down just so I can see the other names quickly?
Devontae
was tagged, right?
Yeah, we're not. Yeah, no. Anyway, Will no. Yeah.
Juju, hell no. Manny Sanders, no. I guess Brown. We got to do Robinson.
The only other thing that if he rejects us, understand this, guys. If you're, for the people who are watching, they could reject us. So you might try to sign him. And people are like, oh, the offseason sucks. It's not my fault if Allen Robinson rejects me right now. Okay, that sucks. So with that happening, Kyle, would you be willing? And this is I've kind of changed into this mindset a little bit.
Odell.
I would be no, not Odell. I'd be willing to sign a Christian Kirk or a DJ Shark or a Gallup as like another like option 2. So you could still go into the draft with maybe wanting like you want a receiver in the 4th or 5th round, but you don't have to force it. Whereas if we don't get a receiver right now, and we go into the draft without a receiver, I feel like we have to force the pick in the 1st or 2nd round. So I would like a Gallup, DJ Shark, even a Gage as if they all reject us, or a Christian Kirk. I would probably say Kirk. I think he's the best out of these guys.
Do you? I was gonna assume Gallup, but
yeah, he's coming off the injury. He's coming off the injury. ACL or not even. It was Achilles tear, right? Chad could be wrong, right? Would you rather do Chark? I'll give you the choice. Chark for $10 million a year for 3 years, or Kirk for let's just say 12.5 a year.
I never loved Chark, so I'm not really that interested. I'm not saying he's a bad player.
So want to try for Kirk?
Yeah, sure.
He's like a solid like 2.
I'm relying on you for this one.
He denied us anyway. So then we have Chark, Gallup, or Gage. We have a Chark in here. We have a Kirk. We literally have Kirk. Chark would be nice. Gage. So 3 different ones right in a row. I see 2 Charks. And yeah, 6.5 for Gage isn't bad, but he's like a 3. Like he's not. You definitely want to draft a receiver in the first 2 rounds. Who's your vote? Who's the chat's vote?
I'd probably just go with Gage and just draft a receiver.
Okay, we have 1 Gage. We have Kirk. Okay. Decided on elsewhere anyway, so now we're going Shark too. Dude.
Gallup. I would have went Gallup over Shark anyway.
Okay, well, we just got Michael Gallup. We got him for $12 million a year, right? Or a little bit less. 1.5.
It's like Corey Davis's contract.
Yeah.
He got around 12.
A little bit less. We just got absolutely destroyed in those guys. So now let's go and hopefully interior offensive linemen splurge there a little bit. Because we just got destroyed by the receivers. James Daniels.
What's your opinion on Connor Williams?
I know he had a lot of penalties this year. I think has he been banged up a little bit? But I think he had a lot of flags this year, but it's not, or it hasn't carried over his career. Mm-hmm. Based on everything I've heard, I think it's Daniels for me. But
all right, then let's give it a shot.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Next, do you want to look at some tight ends just to be safe?
Yeah, not interested in OJ.
No,
not interested in Evan Ingram. And Njoku got tagged, so that's not a possibility. Gesicki, no way. Dalton Schultz, can't do it.
The only guy I'm thinking is who I think is going to go for realistically $5 million is Max Williams, and this is strictly based on an article that Nani wrote that he is decent in the pass game and a really good run blocker. So as a guy, just as a security option, and then again we have to draft a guy in the first and probably in the 2nd round or the 3rd round.
I definitely want a guy who can block. So
try it. Okay. So we still really need another tight end, but unfortunately, the tight end group in this free agency is not good at all. So how much money do we have to play with now? Okay, we can make
we're going to leave about 12, so we got about 20.
Okay, so would you like to hit interior defensive line, linebacker, corner, safety first?
I assume you want to go safety and try to get Marcus Williams. Am I right about that? Based on what you told me.
Yeah, I'm cool.
Bates,
I'm
we
cool.
can't do that.
I'm cool
Bates
trying
is
to make
nice as well. I didn't know that.
I'm trying to make
Oh, you love Justin Reed.
for $8 million too instead of like 15.
So is that what you want to do?
I would like if you told me, hey, you can get Justin Reed and Tracy Walker for the price of one Marcus Williams. Might I? Well, let's go for the big splash. Want to go for the big splash? What does the chat think? Big splash or like two lower tier guys or a lower tier guy and maybe like a linebacker or something like that. I don't know. If they want Marcus Williams, I'll try to sign a Marcus Williams because we got hammered on receiver and nobody's gonna like that. And we traded Q, so I want to be a little bit favorable to the chat right now because you know how that gets.
By the way, what's your opinion on the honey badger? And I know Michael recently wrote an article. Do you know what he even said?
I know it kind of like steered in the direction of not wanting to sign him. Mike says lower tier. DT is a huge need now. Yeah, that's true. So we should probably plug DT too. So is there anybody like lower tier here so we don't have to make a splash so we could kind of fill more holes, Kyle, that you'd like to see? Justin Reed, want to try it?
Yeah, let's try Reed.
Oh. Harold says he likes Williams there. Whitehead 11.
Is that the bottom? Whitehead?
Yeah, he's at the bottom. Tracy Walker. Like, there's a couple of good guys in here. Tart is like a really low tier guy. You can get him as like a stopgap, and then get like a Curse or like an $8 million guy. That's your two starters. KZ, he was in Atlanta.
Yeah, I'm not really loving these names, so yeah. I guess I'd just rather go with something that's reasonable. Like I don't want to spend a good amount of money. I like McCourty a lot, but he's old.
You know what? We're gonna make a splash. Boom. Decided.
Okay.
Marcus Williams. Now we can sign a D tackle.
Interior, yeah.
Yeah, we definitely need a D tackle. Curse would be nice. Curse has turned out. Yeah, we got Marcus Williams though. That was our one big splash of free agency because we didn't really. Oh, him and Daniels would be.
What's Hicks' age? 32.
Yeah, he's $12 million a year though. I don't think he didn't play. He played like 30% of the snaps. I think it's too high for him.
Yeah,
to be really honest. Brandon Williams, Sue, no, 9. The guys that I know who fit right here are, I think it's BJ Hill and DJ Jones are guys who fit the system.
Yeah, I'm not really interested in a lot of the bigger names too. There's a lot of old guys. So just shoot for one of them.
Without knowing, obviously, a ton about them. Okay, BJ. Please give us BJ. No, that sounds fucked up too. Anyway, another guy in here you want to sign? Or do you want to like a linebacker?
Linval's mostly a nose, so no. Ogunjobi, I never thought he's that good, and he's just coming off a big injury late in the playoffs, so not interested.
Vernon Butler, Quentin Jefferson. Or do you want to sign a linebacker, and then we could use we might have to use a higher linebacker tackle. That just is what it is.
We can't just force the signing, I don't think.
No.
Hightower, too old, injury prone. No.
Deion Brown got injured last year, but I liked him coming out last year. Count O'Neal, they tried to sign him last year. Anthony Walker Jr. has been solid for the Colts for a couple of years.
I think Van Der Esch is a good player.
Van Der Esch? Want to try it?
He gets hurt, but he's a good player. $4 million, that seems very reasonable, honestly.
Okay, there's our linebacker. And we're coming in with $12 million. Oh, you know what we could sign too? Let's try to find like a really, really cheap running back then, since we said 12. Let's see if there's anybody for like $2 million we like. McKinnon played with those guys, right?
Dude, McKinnon looked good in the playoffs last year, man.
Mostert for $1 million? Would you be willing to do McKinnon or Mostert? So that's you have Coleman, Mostert.
I'd rather have McKinnon.
Okay.
I think McKinnon's a better receiving back.
McKinnon, and then obviously we're gonna draft one too, hopefully. Okay, Mostert.
Yeah.
System fit. Okay.
What's Cordarrelle's number?
Patterson. He's gonna be like 7-8, right? 9. Yeah. Is there any other thing you want to sign for like the $2 million we have? Is there maybe? Did we try? Let's try hit. Hold on. Tart for 3. Just push it. It's only $200,000 and go over. Fuck. Okay. Let's just go in. Unless there's anything else. Tackle, tight end, receiver, kicker. Kicker. We need a kicker, Kyle. You need a kicker.
Dude, Younghoe Koo for $6 million, 2 years. That's no brainer, bro.
Boom. Younghoe Koo, New Jets kicker. Let's go.
Pro Bowl kicker.
All right. Go to draft. That free agency was not ideal, but we got Daniels. We got.
We're building through the draft, Joe.
Yeah, we got 3 first-round picks and 3. Oh, okay. So, Kyle.
I guess it's Icky, I guess, right? No. Wait, hold on.
We signed James Daniels.
Okay. Kayvon went 1. Wow. Okay. Aiden, Evan Neal. So, Sauce?
Yeah, Sauce, right?
Take
we don't have a corner. We didn't sign any corners.
Take Sauce.
All right.
Okay.
Kim is not good. Sauce, yeah. We're on Sauce. All right.
Fuck.
Here,
so Carl Loftus went, right? They took Carl Loftus?
Oh my god, he did. But there's a glitch in here. William Jones, what is this app? It's Jets X Factor. It's our simulator.
Wait, what do you mean a glitch?
There's guys low here who should not be low here, I'm pretty sure.
Who are you looking for specifically? That should be low.
Was it? Oh, dude, Walker.
Okay.
Walker at 10. It's realistic. He should not be 29 right here, but want to draft Walker?
Take him.
Okay. So who do we sign? Okay. I'm trying to think in my head. What's their biggest need right now? Tight end, receiver?
Tight ends a need, receivers a need.
Linebacker. Is like another secondary need?
Yeah.
Dude, there is
we broke the bank for safety, so
yeah. Well, I think we need another lower tier guy. I would say at least. Oh, D tackle too. Yeah, good call, Nathan. Good call, Nathan.
Okay.
So.
Okay. You're not a big Olave guy.
I'm not the biggest Olave guy, but
your boy McDuffie's still here, but we already got a corner.
I really doubt that Lloyd would be here, and I think based on value, he's probably the best pick, to be completely honest.
Think so?
Dude, Devin Lloyd, who else is better above him here? Oh, dude, Wyatt's here.
Your boy Jermaine Johnson's here. I don't know anything about Wyatt's not the big guy, right? No,
he's not Davis, but he blew up the combine too. They both dominated inside.
Okay, but did you watch any of his film?
The screen is too blurry to read, really? Is it blurry for you guys too?
For me, it's crystal clear. I can't say about them.
Socrates. Oh, Michael Ellis. Why do we have pick 24? I don't want to tell you, buddy. I don't want to tell you.
We traded Quinnen Williams. It was the right decision. We got 2 first rounders.
It was a coin flip, literally.
I said Blewett. We go with what you want, but then he said, "Oh, let's see what the chat says." And
I think it's kind of small. Can I control plus it or something? I don't know how to. Is that bigger for you guys? You see now? Oh, but it's just like severely limit. Okay, can you see it better?
For me, it's bigger. I can't speak for them.
I hope it is.
I'm not looking on YouTube. I'll look on YouTube on my phone.
2001 screen clear here, and I'm in East Asia. Oh, there you go. Horrible. Michael Ellis. We took the chat was split on it, so we literally went to an app that was a coin flip, and we flipped the coin. So that I know it's not really going to happen, but we went wild. So it just is what it is. I don't like it either. Trust me. I thought of restarting the draft because I don't like it, but we're here now. So we at this point we really need a D lineman. Again, I don't really know who.
You can't just force it, man.
Well, you have Leal here. He's 27 overall.
Okay, but we don't know anything about that player.
We don't know anything about a lot of these players.
Okay, but we know about some of these guys here, though.
Like who?
You were just mentioning Lloyd. We know about Olave. We know about Jermaine Johnson. We know about McDuffie.
I'm very cool. Well, we already have a corner. We already have
I know.
Whatever it's called. I'm saying Lloyd. That would be my pick because I think he's good value here.
So go with him then.
Okay.
He's fun.
Our linebacking core is now Lloyd, Van Der Esch, and Mosley. That's pretty freaking solid.
Yeah.
Let me scroll down.
All right. Round 2, pick 3.
Okay, people saying it's better, and we got a lot of people with Lloyd, so we're on Lloyd train with them. So I am saying we still D-line, big need. Receiver, second, it's a need, and then tight end's a big need, and safety. I say those are our top 4, right?
Okay. So how do you feel? Is the McBride guy here, and how do you feel about him?
I think he's probably being a little bit overhyped, to be completely honest, but he's a little bit down in this one.
Just do Control F.
I don't know if I could do
Or
that.
Command F. You're a Mac guy.
Command F. Oh, look at you, McBride. Did he go already?
He must be gone.
Yeah, I think he went, which is kind of crazy.
Okay.
Right. So
what other tight ends are even in consideration, if any? No, right? We're not going to force it that much.
No, we're not forcing it that much. I'm saying that we're taking Wyatt, Leal, Dotson would be the best picks here. Right?
Probably Wyatt is the name that stands out the most.
People are saying Hall. People like Hall over Wyatt? Oh, well, no,
I haven't watched these guys, so
no, there's a lot of Wyatts.
Although I do like SEC defensive linemen do well in the NFL, you know, and these Georgia guys seem to be freaks.
So do you want to buy the hype of that?
Sure. Yeah, we'll go with him.
Okay. A couple picks later, dude, Dotson.
I don't know anything about him. Sorry.
Deep threat, really good hands, doesn't drop balls, explosive. I think he's a little bit slow in his 40. It's slower than I thought he would be, but people really like him. Slower for him. Like people thought he was going to run.
What's the size profile again? Say it again. Size profile.
I think he's like 6. I think he's like 6 foot or 5'11", 6 foot. Deep threat guy. Get good hands, good body contortion. I think he ran like a high 4.3 or a low 4, like a 4.41 or something like that. Chat's different. But I remember DJ, who was announcing it and saying he expected him to run faster. Like his play speed is faster than that. So you have a receiving core of what, Gage or no, Kirk? Who did we sign?
We signed. Did Gage sign with us?
I think it was Gage.
He might have signed with us. No, it was Gallup. We got Gallup.
Oh yeah, we got Gallup. So our receiving core would be Gallup, Dotson, Davis, and Moore. Or do you want to take a safety? Solid. Or do you want to take another starting safety? Do we need another starter more than we need receiver? Chat, I'm gonna leave it up to you.
I'd rather go with the receiver. More ammunition for Z-Dub.
How do you? Somebody said to create a poll before, but I don't know how to. I don't know how to create a poll on my phone.
Unless you're talking about a Twitter poll, which
no, that's not going to do that.
Make sense. I'd go with the receiver. You know.
Okay, that's fine.
I want our young gun to have firepower.
Okay, so now we really need, I would say, a safety and a tight end. Oh, dude, I really doubt this happens. But if Kiner, Brisk, or Scene or Brisker's here, I think you just.
So which guy do you think's better?
Scene blew up the combine, and we're taking another Georgia guy. I'm cool with Scene. He's more of a box safety, and we took Marcus Williams a high safety, so I think it's a really good fit actually.
Okay, get him.
Okay. Now, biggest need is tight end. Hopefully, we can find. Okay. There we go. Let's see who's here at tight end. Ooh, now this becomes. I don't think Ruckert's gonna be this low, but who is some preference here?
I mean, I've seen some impressive plays from Ruckert over the years, but I never watched him super closely. So
he's like people say he's an athlete, like a more of like a freaky guy. I didn't see it a ton when I was watching Kenyon Green. Likely is a guy who's a really good receiver, was a main target for Colts of Carolina, dominated some games. Willing, but not the best blocker. And then Ruckert is kind of like an all-around guy. So do you have a preference? Oh, people are going all day Ruckert.
I like all-around guys.
Okay. Hey, well, we got 4.
I don't like an offense where I put a guy in and like it tips off the D. Okay, we know what they're doing.
Yeah. The chat wants Ruckert. Okay, chat. I hear you. You won that one for sure. So now we're kind of playing with like our
Cam
Thomas.
needs.
Cam Thomas is not falling here. Is not falling here. So I kind of don't even consider that. But
no, fuck it, man. We just because some of our guys were gone before, we take what's there.
Play the board. Let's look at depth on O-line, potential replacement for Fant. No, those guys are low. Those guys are real low. Those guys are pretty low too. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, Mark Orlando. So right now, Kyle, our receiver core is stacked. We signed a tight end. We have Rucker. Our tight end, I would like to get a stud, but we have a well-rounded group. We have a stacked receiving core. We signed James Daniels. We have linebackers. We have safeties. We have corners. We have a D tackle. I think our next biggest thing is, to be honest, a running back, right?
We could certainly, draft running back every year. So see who's there.
And to be honest, if I'm seeing a guy right here in Kenneth Walker who just was supposed to be like more of a power guy and just ran like a 4.39 or a 4.41 at the combine and blew it up.
That's super fast for a running back.
In the third round?
You said 4.41. I mean, Saquon was 4.4 flat. So
yeah, I think Walker's a pick. I think the chat will probably agree because they're smart. Walker is a beast. Walker. Bryce Hall has to be running back one for Brees Hall.
By the way, Michigan State turns out some pretty good running backs.
Here, these are the Jets picks for whoever just asked. Rod Gardner, Trayvon Walker, Lloyd. Oh, dude, people are gonna hate that we went so defensive heavy, but we went offensive heavy in free agency, kinda. So we addressed guard, we addressed receiver in free agency. We got a tight end, so we had a big hole at both D line, corner, and he's a D end. He's a D end. Sorry, D end.
Yeah.
Okay. Down.
We're hoping we can turn him into Myles Garrett.
Are you cool with Walker being the pick?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Now we're just drafting BPA, right? Oh, 4.38. Harold said, yeah. Michael Ellis. I'm not against adding another running back here. Anything you see, Kyle? We literally filled all of our needs right now, so we're just drafting for whoever we like. I always have to say they love. Okay, well, this is not realistic.
Well,
there's no way Christian Watson's here. There's no way Christian Watson's here. I would take him, but no way.
Take him.
What?
Why not? Got a bunch of receivers.
How do you think we should cheat the system and just take Christian Watson?
Dude, think about it like this, Joe. The system also wouldn't let us sign a lot of the players we wanted to sign.
That is true. We tried to sign Allen Robinson, denied. We tried to sign Christian Kirk, denied. We tried to sign DJ Chark, declined.
So that's the way I'm kind of looking at it. But also, we could also use more help in the secondary too. So
safeties.
What was that? Go down a little bit. There was a safety name that sounded familiar.
Kirby Joseph.
No.
People like Kirby Joseph, but again, I don't really. For what reason do they like him? I don't know. I say we just cheat the system and get Watson. And
yes.
Okay, that's fine. Our receiving core is there's no true like number one right now, but we just absolutely stole him. It may be the fourth round. You never know. It happens. People again, Sean Wade. I always bring it up. He was going to be a top pick, and then look what happened.
Yeah, Sean Wade.
I think we need. I'm not going to lie here. The guy on the top of the board right here, I would not hate. Get tackle depth. Top guy on the board. I don't really know a lot about him because who does at this point unless they're just guessing.
Yeah, let's get him.
Cool.
By the way, are you going to watch Charles Cross?
What?
At any point in the near future, are you going to watch Charles Cross? Because I keep seeing him flying up on boards.
Maybe. O-line. Yeah. Okay. So what I know about Cole Strange is one, he had a good combine, and two, he played well for in the Senior Bowl. I think he was on the Jets team and he played really well. So would you rather go with an interior guy or a tackle? Because we need some O-line depth. We actually do.
I'd rather go with the guy who I think's better. So if you think it's Strange, then I go with him.
There we go. I think they like Cole Strange. Yeah. Okay. Oh, Alexis Alvarez. Is there any kickers? We signed Younghoe Koo.
Yeah. Good deal too.
Okay, who do we like here, chat? Cole Strange.
I'd actually be really happy if they signed Young Wei Koo, like for real.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't hate it. So right now I'm thinking because we don't really have. I'm thinking just because they're up at the top, a safety or a linebacker. Linebacker depth and like a DN / hybrid linebacker.
Dude, we got Van Der Esch and we got Lloyd. So I'd go with the safety.
Oh, you know what? Mike doesn't make a bad suggestion. Actually, he says Ridgeway because another D lineman. Like we do.
Yeah,
some depth. We cut Sheldon or we cut Rankins. Yeah, I think it's a good pick actually.
Yeah,
good
go
Mike.
with him.
Mark Orlando. I hear you about Jelani Woods, but we already got three. We already got 3 tight ends. This is to be the roster. Kyle, ready? So we have Wilson Flacco. Okay, go with 2. I'm cool with that. He's going to get cut, to be completely honest. We have Michael Carter, Coleman, and Walker as your 3 running backs. But Carter, Walker, Coleman as your 1, 2, 3 is not bad at all. The receiving core would be Corey Davis, Elijah Moore, Gallup, Dotson, Christian Watson. That is ridiculous. That is a ridiculous receiving core. Like I know we struck out at some of the top guys, but in terms of having depth, like who cares if a guy gets injured at that point? Jesus. Dotson, Watson, Gallup we added. Ooh, okay. We're not fucking around a receiver. Tight ends would be, which I'm a little bit disappointed with, but it is what it is. Tyler Kroft, Max Williams, Jeremy Ruckert, and Wesco. Unfortunate. We got denied by a couple of guys in free agency. Or no, there really isn't a lot of guys out there, to be completely honest. And he's the most well-rounded guy. Like I know people fall in love with OJ Howard for what he was at Bama, but in terms of well-rounded guys and reliable, look at like digging into some stuff. Max Williams is a little bit underrated by guys.
I never even loved OJ Howard's Bama film. I did not love it.
Interesting. Our starting left tackle, right tackles, Becton. And then we have McGovern center, ABT left guard, Moses as a depth tackle too. James Daniels starting right guard.
One thing, dude, we definitely kind of filled out a lot of the holes. I would say, like we like this was a barren roster, I think, and like okay, sure. Our defensive line might not be as strong, but
if you're starting offensive line from left to right, let's just say Becton, ABT, McGovern, James Daniels, and then Fant, and then your backups were Morgan Moses, Cole Strange. Like you're talking about a deep offensive line. And then the defensive line, now it would be Trayvon Walker, D end, Devontae Wyatt at D tackle. And then you'd have our other D tackle though. I would hope they'd add like a run stuffer here because that's where we actually failed because Jonathan Marshall, Carl Law. Oh well, no. So it'd be Wyatt and JFM in the middle. Yeah, Wyatt and JFM in the middle. Carl Lawson and Walker on the edges with Huff and Phillips as the backups. The Isaac 12 T guy Mark. Eat a dick. Linebackers: CJ Mosley, Leighton Vander Esch, Devin Lloyd as your starters. That's very very solid.
I like it.
And then your starting corners would be Ahmad Gardner, Bryce Hall, and then you have the backups. The same backups you had last year: Michael Carter, Eccles. We didn't re-sign Guidry. And then your safeties, your 2 starting safeties would be Lewis Seen, Marcus Williams, Ashton Davis as a backup, and they'd probably have another guy in there. And then Young Wei Koo. Dirty offseason, very nice haul. Don't like the Williams trade, but we filled the gaps and looked poised to compete with a roster like that. Wilson would have no excuses. Michael, also appreciate that. Yeah, I don't love, I really doubt that the whole Q thing's going to happen. So we'd have we'd have Q and not an extra first and a second, but if you're telling me this was the end result, I give it a B plus. I give it a B plus. I don't know what the chat usually throws out grades. So the chat, I would like some grades. The mock draft we did last week, I am going to go. It was literally an A plus. A plus. This one, the fact that I know we don't love some of the things, but the fact that we have Watson, Dotson, Gallup, Moore, Davis, and our running backs are Walker and Carter. We got Ruckert. We added James Daniels. We have Moses as a backup still. We have Cole Strange as a backup. We got Van Der Esch and Lloyd.
We have depth on this team. That's clear.
Van Der Esch and Lloyd. We got Trayvon Walker as a D end. We got Lewis Seen. We got Gardner. Like, dude, this is B plus. I'll give it A minus. I'm gonna move up to A minus. We addressed a lot of shit here, Kyle.
Yeah.
Okay.
And see, and part of that, and that's, and again, with the Q trade, we still got a first next year, right? Or no?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
After how much money is left? I think it's 12 million. After I know it's 20 million, but with the cap going up, we just said we'll be safe and give ourselves an extra 8 million. A draft A plus. You got my boy Lucas. A B plus. Okay, I'll take a B plus. So we're floating between a B plus and an A. Kyle, I'll take it. We'll give ourselves an A minus. You feel comfortable with that?
yeah.
A.
It wasn't easy trading Quinnen Williams away, but
it's let's be real, it's not going to happen. But in our fantasy land mock draft, that's what happened. Offseason simulator. Joe Nelson ask you why no love for OJ Howard.
I just feel like people were billing him as like this can't miss prospect, and I don't know. To me, like, I do think he was a really good blocker in college, but you never saw, like, he was never. So people, the thing was, okay, they're not utilizing his receiving skills enough. And to me, it's like, okay, if you're going to take a tight end in the top 10, I need to see a guy who's catching a ton of passes. And was he catching a ton of passes at Bama? No.
Okay.
So,
guys, if you have any other questions, just throw them out. Really, dude, the fact that I'm going to watch this entire game when I get off now, the fact that the Nets are beating the Sixers right now, 79-57 in Philly, is so nice. I'm so happy
because of the trade. Is that their first game after the trade?
First game, and the Sixers been dominating, but the Nets haven't been playing with Simmons, and KD just came back. They just won the other. They just beat. I just watched the whole freaking game too, but I've been up for 26 hours before I'm gonna forget. But
you got to get some sleep.
I know I'm gonna watch the rest of the game. That's for sure. So that's it. That's a good place to call it. We got a solid A minus from the chat for the offseason. Don't love the Q thing. Next time we do that, we'll have free agency to talk about. Kyle, next time we come on here, we're gonna have some free agency to talk about. So let's say before we go, give me your three predictions, not wants, for free agency. Who are the Jets gonna sign?
Oh God, man, you're asking me some tough questions. Who are they going to sign? They're going to sign. God damn it, Blewett. I heard that they don't want him, Amari Cooper, but is that according to who?
And then you literally said the last time you said something like that. You said, "Who said that?"
Yeah, I don't know, man. They're going to get some type of receiver. I like Amari Cooper's the big cat, but like.
Just say it. It's okay. You can say it. Come
on. I don't think they are going to sign him though, but maybe they will. All right. Look, Joe Douglas needs to get Zach. They'll sign Amari Cooper. Okay. They'll sign Laken Tomlinson and somebody on defense. You give me a defensive name.
I like Harold Williams, Daniels, and trade for Cooper. I'm going to go Allen Robinson, Laken Tomlinson, and I'm trying to think of like a safety.
I don't think they're going to sign Marcus Williams.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of like Tracy Walker. Let's just do like a random one out there.
Yeah, but so you're saying like three big names. I'm thinking like, I don't know that they're going to sign like three big guys or whatever. So
Laken Tomlinson's going to be like $10-ish million. Tracy Walker's going to be like $8-9 million. $7-8 million.
I did see Green Bean saying like, oh, Laken Tomlinson he's been really consistent with like always making games. I like that in all offensive linemen. Such an easy position to get hurt. So to me, that says something.
That's not my expectation. That's my expectation. I just threw out names. That's not if in a perfect world, it's James Daniels trade for Cooper or Cooks, or actually trade for Metcalf. So sorry, let's say James Daniels, Metcalf, and Marcus Williams. That's
dude. Sure, if they trade for DK, I'm gonna be really excited.
Yeah. So I appreciate everybody in the chat.
And dude, I think Zach has a good deep ball. You saw that in his college film. It didn't look great last year, but you get Metcalf, all of a sudden you're now, okay, maybe we might see Zach start to hit some of these deep shots. I know he had a couple last year in the Titans game, but anyway.
Appreciate everybody in the chat. It was almost 220 plus for a decent amount of time. So definitely appreciate that. The highest we've ever been before. Now with this coming, the good thing about being a JetX subscriber, if you subscribe, is all of the guys you want to see broken down. Again, you can watch YouTube highlights, but if you really want to figure out who they are and go through the film, the nitty gritty of footwork and techniques and coverages and what they excel in, what they're weak at, subscribe, and you're going to get them all broken down. So I appreciate everybody for listening. I'll break them down sometimes on the live stream as well, but the nitty gritty will be the actual film reviews. So definitely check it out. I'm really, really excited. Kyle, any last words?
Yeah, just big thanks to everybody. I mean, huge support, lots of chats, 200 and something people in it. Yeah, I don't remember the number ever being that high before, so that's really cool. So appreciate you guys.
See you guys later.